What if I told you that tonight, as you close your eyes and surrender to sleep, you are not simply resting your tired body after another long day. You are stepping into something far more profound, far more powerful than you have ever been taught to believe. You are entering what Florence Scovel Shinn called the divine workshop of miracles, a sacred chamber where the invisible forces of the universe work on your behalf while your conscious mind rests. This is not poetry. This is not metaphor. This is spiritual law in action, and tonight, everything changes for you. Most people go to sleep poor and wake up poor. They close their eyes carrying the weight of bills unpaid, opportunities missed, dreams deferred. They drift into unconsciousness, replaying the same story of lack, the same narrative of not enough. And so their subconscious mind, that faithful servant that never sleeps, spends 8 hours reinforcing poverty, deepening scarcity, making limitation feel like home. But you are not most people, because tonight you are going to learn to go to sleep activating prosperity law, programming wealth consciousness, commanding divine supply, and you will wake up magnetized to money itself. Before we begin this journey together, I want you to do something for me right now. Hit the like button on this video. Let the algorithm know that this message matters, that this teaching needs to reach everyone who is ready to transform their relationship with money while they sleep. And if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, click that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss these Florence Scovel Shinn teachings that are changing lives all over the world. Comment below and tell me where in the world you are watching from today. Are you in New York or London? São Paulo or Sydney? Manila or Mumbai? I love seeing this global community gather, all of us united by Florence Scovel Shinn's timeless wisdom. All of us ready to claim the prosperity that is our divine birthright. Now, let me ask you something. Has this ever happened to you? You have gone to bed worried about money, your mind spinning with anxiety about bills or debts or that looming expense you do not know how to cover. You have lain there in the darkness, your chest tight with fear, your thoughts racing through worst-case scenarios. And then somewhere in the night, in that mysterious space between waking and sleeping, something shifted. You cannot explain it. You cannot trace it to any logical thought or decision. But when you woke the next morning, you felt different, lighter, more hopeful, as if some invisible hand had reached into your consciousness and rearranged something fundamental. Perhaps you even woke with a solution, a new idea, an unexpected sense of peace about your financial situation. If this has happened to you, you have already experienced what I am about to teach you tonight. You have already touched the edge of this profound truth. Your sleep was not just rest. It was a portal, a gateway, an access point to the realm where, as Florence Scovel Shinn taught, all things are possible and divine substance waits to take form according to your word. But here is what most people never learn. That experience you had, that mysterious shift, that sudden peace or unexpected solution, it was not random. It was not luck. It was not even grace bestowed from on high to a fortunate few. It was law, spiritual law, as reliable as gravity, as consistent as mathematics, as precise as any scientific principle you learned in school. And tonight, you are going to learn to activate that law deliberately, consciously, powerfully. You are going to learn to turn your sleep into the greatest manifestation tool you have ever possessed. Florence Scovel Shinn understood something that modern sleep science is only now beginning to confirm. She knew that the hours between when you close your eyes at night and when you open them in the morning are not dead time. They are not a void. They are not merely your body recharging its batteries while your consciousness goes blank. No, those hours are potent, pregnant, alive with possibility. Your subconscious mind during sleep is like rich soil that has been tilled and prepared, ready to receive whatever seeds you plant. And those seeds, whether they are seeds of abundance or seeds of lack, will grow through the night and bear fruit in your waking life. Think about it. You spend approximately 1/3 of your life asleep. If you live to be 80 years old, you will have spent nearly 27 years with your eyes closed, your conscious mind at rest, your subconscious mind wide open and receptive. 27 years. Can you imagine what could happen to your financial reality if you spent those 27 years programming prosperity instead of reinforcing poverty? If you spent those 27 years speaking decrees of abundance instead of replaying narratives of lack, this is not a small thing. This is not a minor adjustment. This is a complete revolution in how you relate to money, wealth, and supply. Tonight marks the beginning of that revolution for you. Tonight you stop wasting the power of your sleep. Tonight you stop going to bed carrying your burdens and waking up still weighted down by them. Tonight you learn what Florence Scovel Shinn called the sacred practice of the prosperity portal, the deliberate act of using your pre-sleep moments and your sleeping hours to align every level of your consciousness with divine abundance. Now I need you to understand something crucial before we go any deeper. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not magical thinking. This is not about closing your eyes, mumbling a few pretty words, and waking up to find $1 million under your pillow. Florence Scovel Shinn never taught fantasy. She taught law, and law requires understanding, alignment, and faithful practice. What I am going to share with you over the next 3 hours is a system, a genuine spiritual technology that has transformed thousands of lives. But it requires something from you. It requires that you commit to this practice for at least 21 nights. Why 21 nights? Because that is approximately how long it takes for a new neural pathway to begin forming in your brain. That is how long it takes for a new thought pattern to start feeling natural rather than forced. That is how long it takes for your subconscious mind, which has been programmed for poverty perhaps for decades, to begin accepting prosperity as the new normal. So I am asking you right now, before we begin, to make that commitment. For the next 21 nights, you will play this recording as you prepare for sleep. You will speak the decrees I am going to teach you. You will practice the visualizations I am going to guide you through. And you will watch as your inner world shifts, which means your outer world must shift as well. Are you ready? Are you truly ready to transform your sleep into a prosperity portal? Then let us begin with the first and most important practice Florence Scovel Shinn ever taught about manifesting during sleep. She called it the burden decree, and it is the key that unlocks everything else. Here is what you must understand. You cannot plant seeds of wealth in soil that is choked with weeds of worry. You cannot program prosperity consciousness while clutching tightly to your fears about money. You cannot command divine supply while simultaneously rehearsing all the reasons why supply might not come. So before you sleep, you must perform what Florence called the sacred act of burden releasing. You must take every financial worry, every money fear, every anxiety about bills or debts or future expenses, and you must deliberately, consciously, with full faith, release them to the divine. This is not denial. This is not pretending your challenges do not exist. This is recognizing that worry is not a solution. Anxiety is not a strategy. Fear does not pay bills. And as long as you carry these burdens into sleep, your subconscious mind will spend all night reinforcing them, making them heavier, making them feel more real, more permanent, more insurmountable. But when you release them before sleep, when you truly cast them onto the divine, you free your subconscious mind to do its real work, which is manifesting solutions, attracting opportunities, magnetizing supply. So here is what you are going to do right now, tonight, and every night for the next 21 nights. As you lie in your bed, as you prepare to close your eyes, you are going to speak this decree aloud if possible, or silently if you must, but you are going to speak it with conviction, with authority, with the full weight of spiritual law behind your words. I cast this burden of financial worry upon the Christ within, and I go free to have abundance and prosperity. I cast this burden of unpaid bills upon the divine within, and I go free to have my needs met instantly and effortlessly. I cast this burden of debt upon infinite intelligence, and I go free to have perfect financial freedom. I cast this burden of fear about the future upon God, and I go free to have divine supply flowing to me now. Say it now. Even as you listen to my voice, speak those words. Feel them in your mouth. Hear them in the air around you. Notice what happens in your body as you speak them. Do you feel your shoulders drop slightly? Do you feel your jaw unclench? Do you feel something in your chest release, as if you have been holding your breath for months and finally, you can exhale? That is burden releasing. That is the first key to prosperity programming during sleep. Florence Scovel Shinn told a story that I want you to hear tonight. She wrote about a woman who came to her, a woman who was drowning in debt, terrified of losing her home, unable to sleep at night because of the crushing weight of financial pressure. Florence taught her this burden decree and instructed her to speak it every single night before sleep. The woman was skeptical. How could mere words change her actual financial situation? How could speaking a decree affect her bank account, her creditors, her mounting bills? But she was desperate, and desperation makes people willing to try things they would normally dismiss. So she did it. Every night for 3 weeks, she spoke the burden decree before sleep. And here is what happened. On the 7th night, she slept through the entire night for the first time in months. Just that alone felt like a miracle. On the 12th night, she woke with a clear idea for a service she could offer, something she had never considered before, but that felt obvious once it came to her. On the 18th night, an old friend reached out completely unexpectedly with a freelance opportunity that paid more than the woman had earned in the previous 2 months combined. And by the end of 21 days, not only had her immediate crisis passed, but she felt fundamentally different about money. The fear was gone. The anxiety had lifted. She knew with a deep knowing that transcended logic that she would always be provided for. Was it the words themselves that created this transformation? No. Words are not magic spells, but words are containers for consciousness. Words direct energy. Words inform the subconscious mind about what reality you are choosing to align with. When that woman spoke the burden decree every night, she was training her subconscious mind to stop reinforcing poverty and start accepting prosperity. She was creating a new neural pathway, a new default setting, a new relationship with money itself. And once her inner world shifted, her outer world had no choice but to follow. This can be your story. This will be your story if you commit to this practice. But you must understand that this is not passive. You are not merely listening to soothing sounds and hoping something changes. You are actively participating in your own transformation. You are speaking. You are decreeing. You are commanding. Florence Scovel Shinn was very clear about this. She said that man's word is his wand, the instrument he waves over his life to create the reality he experiences. Your word has power. Your word shapes your subconscious. Your word instructs the universe about what you are calling into manifestation. So use it. Use your word deliberately, powerfully, faithfully. Now here is the second key that unlocks prosperity during sleep, and this one might surprise you. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that your mind can only hold one dominant thought at a time. You cannot simultaneously think about lack and abundance. You cannot be focused on debt and supply. You cannot rehearse poverty and experience prosperity. Your consciousness is like a radio that can only be tuned to one station at a time. And here is the profound truth. The thought you fall asleep with is the thought your subconscious mind will amplify, develop, and create from all night long. Think about that. If you fall asleep worried about bills, your subconscious spends 8 hours making worry feel more justified, more reasonable, more real. If you fall asleep angry at your bank account, your subconscious spends 8 hours deepening that anger, finding more evidence for it, building a stronger case. But if you fall asleep speaking decrees of abundance, if you fall asleep affirming divine supply, if you fall asleep with the words, "I am rich" on your lips, then your subconscious spends 8 hours making those words true. It searches for evidence. It creates pathways. It magnetizes circumstances that match that frequency. So tonight and every night for 21 nights, after you speak the burden decree, you are going to give your subconscious mind a new instruction. You are going to speak what Florence called the wealth lullaby. And this is the simplest, most powerful practice I am going to teach you. As you drift toward sleep, as your body relaxes and your conscious mind begins to fade, you are going to repeat 3 words over and over until sleep claims you. Just 3 words. I am rich. I am rich. I am rich. Not I will be rich. Not I want to be rich. Not I hope to be rich someday. I am rich. Present tense, current reality, already done. Because in the realm of divine substance, which is the only realm that truly matters, you are already rich. The wealth exists. The abundance is prepared. The supply is ready. It is only waiting for your consciousness to align with it, to accept it, to claim it as already yours. And when you fall asleep speaking, I am rich, you are doing exactly that. You are aligning, you are accepting, you are claiming. Your ego mind might object. It might say, but that is a lie. I am not rich. I have bills. I have debt. I have barely enough to survive. If I say I am rich, I am denying reality. But listen carefully. That so-called reality, that experience of not enough, exists only because your consciousness has been programmed to create it. Your outer world is always, always a perfect reflection of your inner world. If you think lack, you experience lack. If you believe in poverty, poverty becomes your reality, not because the universe is punishing you, but because consciousness creates, always, without exception. So when you say, I am rich, you are not lying. You are not in denial. You are choosing a new reality to create. You are instructing your subconscious to build a new experience. You are claiming the truth that exists in the spiritual realm and commanding it to manifest in the physical realm. I am rich. I am rich. I am rich. Let those words be the last words that cross your conscious mind before sleep takes you. Let them sink into your subconscious like seeds into fertile soil. Let them play on repeat in the theater of your sleeping mind. And watch what begins to happen in your waking life over the next 21 days. Ideas will come, opportunities will appear, money will flow in ways you did not anticipate and could not have orchestrated with your limited human planning. Because you are no longer trying to figure out how to get rich. You are simply being rich and allowing the how to unfold according to divine intelligence, which is infinitely smarter than your conscious mind could ever be. Now I want to take you deeper into understanding why this works. Why these simple practices of burden releasing and the wealth lullaby are not just pleasant bedtime rituals, but actual mechanisms of transformation. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that there are two worlds operating simultaneously at all times. There is the visible world, the world of form, the world you see with your physical eyes, the world where bills arrive in the mail and bank accounts show specific numbers and rent is due on the first of the month. And then there is the invisible world, the world of cause, the world of divine substance, the world where all abundance already exists in perfect fullness, waiting only for your consciousness to accept it and call it forth into manifestation. Most people spend their entire lives focused exclusively on the visible world. They look at their bank account and say, I am poor. They look at their bills and say, I do not have enough. They look at their circumstances and say, money is hard to come by. And because consciousness creates, because your inner world determines your outer world, they stay trapped in that experience of lack. They are trying to change the effect without addressing the cause. They are trying to rearrange the furniture in a room while refusing to turn on the light. But you are learning something different tonight. You are learning to work in the invisible realm first, to shift your consciousness first, to change the cause so that the effect must follow. When you speak the burden decree before sleep, you are not pretending your bills do not exist. You are lifting your consciousness above those bills, above those circumstances, above that temporary condition of lack. You are recognizing that the divine within you, the infinite intelligence that spun galaxies into existence and orchestrates the movement of planets, is far more powerful than any financial challenge you face. And you are choosing to place your faith in that power rather than in the appearance of limitation. This is what Florence meant when she said that the visible is made out of the invisible. Your bank account, your income, your financial situation, all of it is made out of consciousness. All of it is the outpicturing of your dominant thoughts and beliefs about money. And if you want to change what you see in the visible world, you must first change what you are holding in the invisible world of consciousness. Sleep is the perfect time to do this work because your conscious mind, with all its doubts and objections and limiting beliefs, is temporarily out of the way. Your subconscious mind is wide open, receptive, ready to accept new programming. This is why ancient spiritual traditions have always taught practices to be done at bedtime. This is why prayers before sleep are found in every religion. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn placed such emphasis on what you say and think and feel as you drift into unconsciousness. Let me tell you about another person who came to Florence. A man, this time. A businessman who had built significant wealth and then lost it all in what people were calling the Great Depression. He came to Florence, not asking for money, but asking for peace. He said he could not sleep at night. Every time he closed his eyes, his mind would spin with anxiety, replaying the loss, rehearsing the failure, imagining worse scenarios yet to come. He was exhausted, depressed, and convinced that he would never recover financially. Florence taught him these same practices I am teaching you tonight. She taught him to cast his burden before sleep. She taught him to fall asleep, repeating, "I am rich." And she told him something that changed everything for him. She said, "Every night when you go to sleep, you are dying to this day. And every morning when you wake up, you are being born into a new day. So why would you carry yesterday's loss into today? Why would you let yesterday's failure define tomorrow? Release it. Let it die with today. And wake up tomorrow as a new person in a new reality." He practiced this faithfully. Every single night, no matter how strong the temptation to worry, no matter how loud the voice of fear, he cast his burdens and spoke his wealth affirmation. And here is what happened. Within 2 weeks, he was sleeping through the night again. Within 6 weeks, he had a business idea that felt exciting, fresh, full of possibility. Within 4 months, that idea had generated more income than he had made in the entire previous year. And within a year, he had not only recovered his previous wealth, but exceeded it. He later told Florence that the greatest gift was not the money itself, but the knowledge that he could never truly lose, because he understood now that wealth comes from consciousness, not from circumstances. He understood that as long as he could control his consciousness, especially during sleep, he could create any financial reality he desired. This is the power you are claiming tonight. This is the knowledge you are receiving. Your wealth does not depend on the economy. Your abundance does not depend on your job or your business or the stock market or any external condition. Your prosperity depends on your consciousness, and your consciousness is under your control, especially during those 8 hours when your subconscious mind is most receptive to new programming. Now, I want to teach you a third practice, something Florence called the midnight decree. This one is for those nights when you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, which happens to many people. Maybe you wake to use the bathroom. Maybe you wake because of a noise. Maybe you wake for no reason you can identify. Most people, when they wake in the middle of the night, immediately start thinking about their problems. Their mind goes straight to worry. They lie there in the darkness, and suddenly every fear feels amplified. Every challenge seems insurmountable. Every problem appears bigger than it did during the day. But Florence taught that these midnight wakings are actually opportunities. She called them divine appointments. She said that when you wake in the middle of the night, it is often because your higher self has something to communicate to you, some guidance to offer, some reassurance to give. But if you immediately fill that space with worry and fear, you miss the message. So here is what you are going to do for the next 21 nights whenever you wake in the middle of the night. Instead of letting your mind spiral into anxiety, you are going to speak a decree. You are going to say, either aloud or silently, "Money flows to me now. Money flows to me now. Money flows to me now." Just that simple phrase, "Money flows to me now." Not "money will flow to me someday." Not "money might flow to me if I am lucky." Money flows to me now. Present tense, current reality, active movement toward you. And here is what is so powerful about this particular decree. When you speak it in the middle of the night, in that liminal space between sleep and waking, your conscious mind is still quiet. Your analytical mind is still drowsy. Your doubt and fear have not fully activated yet. So the decree drops straight into your subconscious without any interference, without any resistance. It is like planting a seed in soil that has just been watered and is perfectly ready to receive. Say it now, even though it is not midnight. Say it just to feel how it lands in your consciousness. Money flows to me now. Money flows to me now. Money flows to me now. Do you feel the shift? Do you notice how your body responds to those words? There is something about the present tense, something about the word flows, something about the word now that activates a sense of relief, of ease, of movement. You are not striving. You are not struggling. You are not trying to make money come. You are simply acknowledging that it is already flowing, and you are positioning yourself to receive it. Florence Scovel Shinn used to say that the universe is a great reservoir of supply, and each person is a channel through which that supply flows. Your job is not to create the supply. Your job is not to manufacture abundance. Your job is simply to keep your channel open. And what blocks the channel? Fear, worry, doubt, resentment. All the emotional and mental clutter that accumulates when you focus on lack instead of abundance. So when you speak "money flows to me now" in the middle of the night, you are clearing your channel. You are removing obstructions. You are declaring yourself open and ready to receive. Let me share with you what happened to a woman who practiced this midnight decree faithfully. She was a single mother, working 2 jobs, barely making ends meet. She would wake up almost every night at 3 a.m, and her mind would immediately go to her bills, her debt, her fear of not being able to provide for her children. She felt trapped in a cycle she could not break. Then she learned about Florence Scovel Shinn and started applying these teachings. Every night when she woke at 3, instead of worrying, she would speak the decree. Money flows to me now. Money flows to me now. Money flows to me now. Then she would go back to sleep. On the 9th night of doing this, she woke from a dream with a complete memory of a business idea she had abandoned years ago, before her children were born. The idea had always felt too risky, too uncertain. But that night, it came back to her with absolute clarity about exactly how to implement it now, in her current circumstances. With minimal investment, she started working on it in whatever spare moments she had. Within 3 months, that side business was generating enough income that she could quit one of her jobs. Within 6 months, it was generating enough that she could quit both jobs and work for herself full-time. And within a year, she was earning more than she had ever earned in her life, with flexibility to be present for her children in ways she never could when she was working for others. Was it just the words "money flows to me now" that created this transformation? No, it was her willingness to shift her consciousness in that vulnerable midnight moment. It was her choice to focus on abundance instead of lack when everything in her circumstances was screaming lack. It was her faith that divine substance could reach her even in the middle of the night, even in the middle of her financial struggle. The words were the tool she used to shift her consciousness, and once her consciousness shifted, her reality had no choice but to follow. This will happen for you too. Not necessarily in the same way, not necessarily with a business idea or a dream. Divine intelligence is infinitely creative. Your supply might come through a new job opportunity, or a raise, or an unexpected gift, or a debt being forgiven, or an idea that monetizes a skill you already have. You do not need to know the how. You do not need to figure out the mechanism. You only need to keep your consciousness aligned with abundance, especially during sleep, especially during those midnight wakings, and trust that infinite intelligence knows exactly how to bring supply to you in the perfect way at the perfect time. Now let us talk about something that many people struggle with, something that can sabotage all of this beautiful prosperity programming if you are not aware of it. Florence Scovel Shinn called it the battleground of the mind, and it happens in that space right before you fall asleep. You have spoken your burden decree. You have started repeating your wealth lullaby. Your body is relaxing, your breathing is slowing. And then, right at the edge of sleep, your mind serves up one more worry, one more fear, one more scenario of lack. It is as if your ego, sensing that it is about to lose its grip on you for the next 8 hours, makes one final desperate attempt to pull you back into poverty consciousness. This happens to almost everyone at first. You will be drifting peacefully, affirming "I am rich," and suddenly you will think, "But what about that bill due next week?" Or, "How am I going to afford that expense?" Or, "What if I lose my job?" And if you engage with those thoughts, if you start trying to solve those problems or argue with those fears, you will pull yourself back into full waking consciousness, and you will have lost the precious opportunity of that liminal space where your subconscious is most receptive. So here is what Florence taught, and this is crucial. When those last-minute fears arise, do not fight them. Do not try to push them away. Do not argue with them, or analyze them, or solve them. Simply acknowledge them with compassion, and then gently redirect your focus back to your decree. You might silently say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I am safe. Divine supply is handling this." And then return to your wealth lullaby. I am rich. I am rich. I am rich. If the fearful thought returns, and it might several times at first, repeat the process. Acknowledge it, thank it for trying to help, and redirect back to your affirmation. This is training. You are training your mind the way you would train a puppy. Patiently, consistently, lovingly, but firmly. You are teaching your consciousness where you want it to focus, especially in those crucial moments before sleep. And just like training a puppy, it gets easier with repetition. The first few nights might feel like a struggle, but by the second week, you will notice that those last-minute fears come less frequently and have less power. And by the third week, you will often drift into sleep smoothly, effortlessly. Your consciousness already aligned with abundance before unconsciousness takes you. Florence Scovel Shinn understood that transformation is not always instantaneous. Sometimes it is, when consciousness shifts suddenly and completely, and miracles happen overnight. But more often, transformation is a process of consistent, faithful practice. It is choosing abundance over lack, not just once, but every night for 21 nights. It is speaking your decrees, not just when you feel inspired, but especially when you do not feel inspired. When circumstances seem to contradict your words, when your bank account mocks your affirmations, that is when your faith is being built. That is when your consciousness is being strengthened. That is when you are proving to yourself and to the universe that you are serious about claiming your prosperity. Think of it this way. If you wanted to build physical strength, you would not go to the gym once and expect to have muscles. You would go consistently, day after day, week after week, gradually increasing the weight, gradually building capacity. Consciousness works the same way. You are building your prosperity consciousness muscle. Every night that you cast your burden, every time you repeat your wealth lullaby, every midnight decree you speak, you are strengthening that muscle. And one day, you will notice that thinking abundantly has become natural. Expecting prosperity has become automatic. Receiving money has become normal. Not because you are pretending or denying reality, but because you have actually changed your consciousness, and therefore you have changed your reality. So tonight, as you prepare for sleep, you have 3 powerful practices. First, the burden decree, releasing all financial worry and fear to the divine. Second, the wealth lullaby, falling asleep with the words, "I am rich" on your lips and in your mind. And third, the midnight decree, speaking money flows to me now whenever you wake in the middle of the night. These 3 practices, done faithfully for 21 nights, will transform your relationship with money, your experience of supply, and your entire financial reality. Not because the practices themselves are magic, but because they shift your consciousness, and consciousness creates everything you experience. Now I want to take you into something deeper, something that Florence Scovel Shinn considered one of the most important keys to unlocking prosperity, and it has everything to do with how you sleep and what you allow into your consciousness before you close your eyes. She called it the principle of making wealth familiar. You see, your mind has a powerful tendency to move toward what feels familiar and away from what feels unfamiliar. This is a survival mechanism. Your subconscious mind is designed to keep you safe, and safety, to the subconscious, means familiar. Even if familiar is painful, even if familiar is limiting, even if familiar is poverty, your subconscious will try to keep you there because it knows that territory. It has survived that territory. And survival is your subconscious mind's primary directive. This is why so many people who win the lottery end up broke within a few years. This is why people who suddenly come into money often lose it just as quickly. It is not because they are foolish or irresponsible. It is because wealth is unfamiliar to them. Their consciousness has not been trained to hold it, to manage it, to feel comfortable with it. So their subconscious, in its attempt to return them to familiar territory, sabotages the wealth. It creates circumstances that drain the money away, that push them back to the level of lack they have always known. But here is the beautiful truth Florence discovered. You can train your subconscious to make wealth familiar before it even manifests in physical form. You can program prosperity consciousness while you sleep, so that by the time money actually shows up in your life, your subconscious recognizes it as home. Your mind does not fight it. Your consciousness does not sabotage it. You are ready to receive it, keep it, multiply it, because it feels familiar, safe, natural. So how do you do this? How do you make wealth familiar during sleep? Through a practice Florence called prosperity visualization. And this is what you are going to do starting tonight as part of your before sleep ritual. After you speak your burden decree, after you begin your wealth lullaby, you are going to spend a few moments, it does not need to be long, maybe just 2 or 3 minutes, vividly imagining what your life looks like as a wealthy person. But here is the key, and this is where most people get it wrong. You are not going to visualize some distant future where you might be wealthy someday. You are not going to imagine winning the lottery or receiving a windfall. You are going to visualize your current life, your actual daily existence, as if prosperity is already your reality right now. What does your morning look like as a wealthy person? When you wake up, what is the first thought in your mind? Is it peace? Is it gratitude? Is it excitement about the day ahead? What does your bedroom look like? Is it beautiful, comfortable, exactly as you would want it? What are you wearing? How does the fabric feel against your skin? Walk through your day in your imagination. You are going to make breakfast. What are you eating? Are you choosing foods you love without worrying about the price? Are you drinking excellent coffee from beans you selected because you wanted them, not because they were on sale? When you get dressed, are you choosing clothes that make you feel confident and attractive? When you leave your home, are you getting into a car that you love, that feels safe and comfortable? Or are you walking through a neighborhood that brings you joy? As you move through your day in this visualization, notice how you feel. Notice the absence of anxiety about money. Notice the ease with which you make decisions. Notice the generosity you can express toward others, because you truly know, that there is more than enough. Notice how you carry yourself differently when you are not weighed down by financial stress. Notice the opportunities you see and the confidence you have to act on them. This is not fantasy. This is not daydreaming. This is consciousness training. You are teaching your subconscious mind what wealth feels like, looks like, tastes like, sounds like. You are making it familiar. And the more familiar it becomes in your inner world, the more naturally it will manifest in your outer world. Your subconscious will start guiding you toward circumstances that match this inner vision. You will start noticing opportunities you would have missed before. You will start making decisions that align with prosperity instead of lack. You will start behaving like a wealthy person, which means you will start experiencing wealth. Florence Scovel Shinn told a story about a woman who came to her desperate for money. The woman was talented, hardworking, educated, but she could not seem to create financial stability no matter what she tried. Florence asked her a simple question. When you imagine yourself with money, what do you see? The woman closed her eyes and described a vision of herself in a huge mansion, dripping with jewels, surrounded by servants, living a life of complete luxury that bore no resemblance to anything she had ever actually experienced. Florence said, "There is your problem. You are trying to make your consciousness jump from poverty to outrageous wealth, and that gap is too big. Your subconscious rejects it as impossible, as unfamiliar, as unsafe. So let us start smaller. Let us start with something your mind can actually accept." She instructed the woman to visualize something much simpler. Living in a clean, comfortable apartment, wearing clothes that fit well and make her feel good, eating nutritious food, paying her bills on time without stress, having a small amount of money left over each month to save or spend on something purely for pleasure. The woman practiced this visualization every night before sleep for 3 weeks. And here is what happened. Within 10 days, she was offered a job she had not even applied for, a job that paid 20% more than she had been earning. Within 3 weeks, she found an apartment that was nicer than where she was living, but actually cost less in rent. Within 6 weeks, she had opened a savings account for the first time in her adult life and had deposited her first $100. Nothing dramatic, nothing flashy, but her life had fundamentally shifted. And once she was comfortable at that level, once that level of stability felt familiar, Florence coached her to expand the vision. Visualize a little more comfort, a little more ease, a little more abundance. And again, her outer reality rose to meet her inner vision. This is the power of making wealth familiar through sleep visualization. You are not trying to leap from where you are to some impossible fantasy. You are taking your consciousness on a gradual journey toward prosperity, making each step feel natural, safe, familiar, and your outer world will follow that inner journey, step by step, until one day you look around and realize you are actually living the life you spent months visualizing before sleep. Now let me teach you a specific technique that makes this visualization even more powerful. Florence called it the 5 senses prosperity practice. As you visualize your wealthy life before sleep, you are going to intentionally engage all 5 of your senses, not just seeing the vision, but hearing it, smelling it, tasting it, feeling it. The more sensory detail you include, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind, and the more powerfully it programs your consciousness for wealth. So let us practice this together right now. Close your eyes if you are able to do so safely. Take a deep breath, and imagine yourself waking up tomorrow morning as a person whose financial needs are completely met. You open your eyes. What is the first thing you see? Maybe sunlight coming through a window with curtains you love. Maybe you see beautiful walls painted a color that brings you peace. Maybe you see your partner sleeping beside you, and you feel overwhelming gratitude for your life together. Really see it. Make it vivid. Now, what do you hear? Maybe birds outside your window. Maybe the sound of a coffee maker you programmed the night before. Maybe music playing softly from a speaker. Or maybe blessed silence, because you live somewhere peaceful, somewhere that feels like a sanctuary. Really hear it. Let those sounds fill your imagination. What do you smell? Maybe fresh coffee, maybe clean sheets, maybe a candle you lit on your nightstand, maybe the scent of flowers in a vase someone gave you, or that you bought for yourself just because they made you happy. Breathe in that imagined scent. Let it feel real. Now get out of bed in your visualization. Feel your feet touching the floor. Is it warm hardwood? Soft carpet? Cool tile? How does it feel? Walk to your closet. Run your hands over the clothes hanging there. Feel the textures, quality fabrics, clothes that fit you perfectly, clothes you chose because you loved them. Really feel it. Touch is so powerful for making something feel real to your subconscious. Go to your kitchen. Pour yourself something to drink. Taste it. Is it fresh juice? Perfect coffee? Cool water? Let that taste be vivid in your imagination. Taste is one of the most visceral senses. When you can taste your prosperity, it becomes undeniably real to your subconscious mind. Open your eyes now if they were closed. How do you feel? Do you notice a shift in your body? Do you feel a little lighter, a little more hopeful, a little more connected to the possibility of wealth? That is the power of 5 senses visualization. That is what you are going to do for just 2 or 3 minutes every night before you fall asleep. You are going to walk through some aspect of your wealthy life, engaging all 5 senses, making it so real, so vivid, so familiar that your subconscious has no choice but to start creating it in your physical reality. Now, I want to address something that might be coming up for you right now. Some of you might be thinking, but is this not selfish? Is it not wrong to want money? Should I not be focused on spiritual things instead of material things? Florence Scovel Shinn addressed this exact concern, and her answer was profound. She said that poverty is not spiritual, lack is not holy, struggle is not noble. God is infinite abundance, and you, as a child of God, as an expression of divine consciousness, are meant to experience that abundance in every area of your life, including financially. But here is the crucial distinction Florence always made. She taught that prosperity is meant to flow through you, not just to you. You are not a reservoir meant to hoard wealth. You are a channel meant to receive it and circulate it. And the more you receive, the more you can give. The more you prosper, the more you can bless others. So let me give you a practice that will not only accelerate your prosperity, but also remove any guilt or discomfort you might feel about desiring wealth. Before you sleep tonight, after your burden decree, after your wealth lullaby begins, after your prosperity visualization, I want you to do what Florence called the blessing list. In your mind, make a list of all the people who would benefit from you having money. Start with the obvious ones. Your family. If you had unlimited financial resources, how would you bless your parents, your children, your siblings, your partner? What would you do for them? What gifts would you give? What experiences would you provide? What burdens would you lift from their shoulders? Now expand the circle. Your friends, your community. If you had wealth, what causes would you support? What charities would you donate to? What problems would you help solve? What suffering would you alleviate? See yourself as a conduit for blessing, not just a consumer of resources. See yourself as someone through whom divine supply flows out to touch countless lives. Florence taught that this practice does two powerful things. First, it shifts your motivation for wealth from ego to service. You are not just wanting money for selfish comfort. You are wanting it so you can be a greater blessing to others. And when your motivation is service, the universe conspires to support you because service is always aligned with divine will. Second, this practice removes the subconscious blocks that keep many good-hearted people poor. If deep down you believe that wanting money is selfish or greedy or unspiritual, your subconscious will sabotage your prosperity to protect your self-image as a good person. But when you reframe wealth as a tool for blessing others, suddenly prosperity becomes not just acceptable, but imperative. How can you bless others if you yourself have nothing to give? So tonight, and every night, as you prepare for sleep, make your blessing list. Get specific. Name names. See faces. Imagine the joy on your mother's face when you hand her the check that pays off her house. Imagine the relief your friend would feel if you could help them through their current financial crisis. Imagine the children who would be fed, the animals who would be rescued, the communities that would be transformed because divine supply flowed through you to them. The longer you make this list, the more you are dismantling your own money blocks. The more people you include, the more your subconscious recognizes that your prosperity is not just about you, and therefore your prosperity becomes not just acceptable, but essential. Florence Scovel Shinn told a story about a man who struggled with this exact issue. He was raised in a religious environment that taught that poverty was holy and wealth was sinful. So even though he worked hard and had good ideas, he could never seem to make money. Whenever he started to prosper, something would happen to drain his resources. An unexpected bill, a bad investment, an accident. His subconscious was literally sabotaging him to keep him aligned with his belief that poverty was spiritual. When he came to Florence, she taught him the blessing list practice. She said, "Every night before sleep, I want you to imagine yourself as a millionaire. But do not imagine what you would buy for yourself. Imagine what you would do for others." He started the practice that very night. He imagined endowing a scholarship fund for children who could not afford college. He imagined building a community center in his neighborhood. He imagined supporting missionaries and feeding programs and medical clinics. He fell asleep every night, seeing himself as a channel through which God's abundance blessed countless people. Within 3 months, his entire financial situation had reversed. Business opportunities appeared that he could not have orchestrated. Debts were forgiven that he thought he would carry for years. Income increased from sources he had not anticipated. But here is what was most remarkable. He told Florence that he no longer felt any guilt about his prosperity. In fact, he felt excited about it, eager for it, because he saw every dollar as another opportunity to bless someone else. His wealth had become his ministry. His prosperity had become his spiritual practice. And once that shift happened in consciousness, once wealth became aligned with his deepest values instead of conflicting with them, the floodgates opened. This can be your story too. This will be your story as you practice these teachings faithfully over the next 21 nights. You will release your burdens. You will affirm your wealth. You will make prosperity familiar through vivid visualization. And you will expand your vision beyond yourself to see how your abundance will bless others. And as you do all of this during those powerful hours when your subconscious is most receptive, you will be programming a completely new financial reality. A reality that must manifest in your outer world because you have first created it so powerfully in your inner world. Now we are going to go deeper into something that Florence Scovel Shinn considered absolutely foundational to manifesting wealth, and most people completely misunderstand it. She called it the law of the word, and it is perhaps the most powerful spiritual principle you will ever learn when it comes to using sleep as a prosperity portal. Florence taught that your word is not just communication. Your word is not just how you express ideas or share information. Your word is actual creative power. She said that man's word is his wand, and just as a magician waves a wand to create effects, you wave your word over your life to create your reality. But here is what most people do not realize. Every word you speak, every sentence you utter, every phrase that comes out of your mouth is a decree. Whether you intend it to be or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you are aware of it or not, You are constantly decreeing reality into being with your words. When you say, "I cannot afford that," you are decreeing poverty. When you say money is hard to come by, you are decreeing financial struggle. When you say, "I will never get ahead," you are decreeing perpetual lack. Your subconscious mind hears these words, accepts them as instructions, and sets about making them true in your experience. Now imagine what happens when you spend all day speaking words of lack, words of struggle, words of limitation, and then you go to sleep. Your subconscious mind, which never sleeps, spends the next 8 hours processing those words, reinforcing those beliefs, creating circumstances that match those decrees. You wake up the next morning, look at your unchanged or worsening financial situation, and think the universe is not listening to you, but the universe is listening. The universe is always listening. It is responding perfectly to what you are decreeing, which is poverty, lack, and struggle. This is why Florence placed such enormous emphasis on the words you speak, especially the words you speak in the hour before sleep. That hour is sacred. That hour is when your subconscious is beginning to open up, beginning to become more receptive, beginning to transition from the beta brainwave state of active thinking into the alpha and theta states where programming happens effortlessly. If you spend that hour complaining about your bills, worrying about money, speaking words of lack, you are loading your subconscious with poverty programming that will run all night long. But if you spend that hour speaking decrees of abundance, affirming divine supply, declaring your prosperity, you are loading your subconscious with wealth programming that will work in your favor through all those sleeping hours. So here is what you are going to do starting tonight, and you are going to do this for the next 21 nights. In the hour before you go to sleep, you are going to be extremely careful with your words. You are going to monitor what comes out of your mouth. If you catch yourself about to say something negative about money, stop. Do not say it. Or if you already said it, immediately correct it with a prosperity decree. If you find yourself saying, "I cannot afford that," stop yourself and say instead, "Divine supply provides everything I need." If you start to say, "I am broke," catch yourself and say instead, "I am abundantly supplied." If you begin to speak about financial worry, redirect to financial faith. This might feel awkward at first. You might feel like you are lying or pretending or being fake. Your logical mind might protest that you are denying reality. But remember what Florence taught. The visible world is made out of the invisible. Your current financial reality is made out of your past consciousness. If you want to change what you see tomorrow, you must change what you are thinking and speaking today. You are not denying reality. You are creating a new reality with your words. Florence Scovel Shinn told a story that perfectly illustrates this principle. A woman came to her who was in dire financial straits. She had lost her job, her savings were depleted, she was about to be evicted from her apartment. And naturally, all she could talk about was her problem. Every sentence out of her mouth was about how bad things were, how impossible her situation was, how unfair life had been to her. Florence let her talk for a while, and then she said something that shocked the woman. She said, "I want you to stop speaking about your problem. In fact, I want you to make a vow right now that for the next 30 days, you will not speak one word about your financial situation to anyone. Not to your friends, not to your family, not to me, not even to yourself. Every time you are tempted to talk about your lack, I want you to instead speak a decree of abundance." The woman thought Florence was out of her mind. How could she not talk about her problem? How could she solve it if she could not even discuss it? But she was desperate enough to try anything. So she made the vow. For 30 days, not one word about her financial crisis. Instead, every time the subject of money came up, she would say something like, "I am grateful for divine supply meeting all my needs," or "I trust that infinite intelligence is working everything out for my highest good." At first, it was torture. Every fiber of her being wanted to complain, to vent, to share her struggle, but she kept her vow. And here is what happened. By the end of the first week, she noticed she felt lighter. The constant rehearsal of her problems had been weighing on her more than she realized. By the end of the second week, she started seeing opportunities she had been blind to before. A neighbor mentioned needing help with a project and offered to pay her. A friend knew someone who needed her specific skill set. By the end of the third week, she had 3 sources of income she did not have when she started. And by the end of 30 days, not only was she caught up on her rent, but she had money in savings again and a clear path forward. The situation had not been impossible. Her words had been making it impossible. Once she stopped decreeing lack and started decreeing supply, her outer world had to shift to match her new inner decree. This is the power of the law of the word, especially in that sacred hour before sleep. Your words are not describing your reality. Your words are creating your reality. So tonight, as you prepare for sleep, you are going to speak very specific decrees. I am going to give you the exact words that Florence taught, and I want you to speak them out loud, if at all possible. If you cannot speak them aloud because others are sleeping near you, then speak them in a strong whisper, or speak them silently but with absolute conviction. These are not suggestions. These are not hopes. These are decrees, and you are speaking them with the full authority of spiritual law backing every word. Here is the first decree you will speak tonight. Say it with me now if you can. Divine supply flows to me now in avalanches of abundance. Everything I need comes to me in perfect ways, at the perfect time, from perfect sources. I am a magnet for money. Prosperity seeks me out. Wealth finds me wherever I am. I do not chase supply. Supply chases me. Say it again. Feel the power in those words. Notice how your body responds. Do you feel your chest expand slightly? Do you feel your shoulders pull back? Do you feel a surge of something that might be hope, or might be faith, or might be the first flicker of actually believing it could be true? Here is the second decree. Speak it now. I am not a beggar approaching a stingy universe. I am a divine child claiming my infinite inheritance. God's wealth is my wealth. The abundance of the universe is my abundance. There is no lack in the kingdom of heaven, and I live in that kingdom now. Say it again with even more conviction. Let your voice carry authority. You are not asking permission. You are not requesting favor. You are stating spiritual fact. Here is the third decree, and this one is particularly powerful right before sleep. All through the night as I rest, divine intelligence is arranging circumstances in my favor. My good is being prepared. My supply is being organized. My prosperity is being magnetized. I will wake tomorrow to new opportunities, unexpected blessings, and perfect financial provision. Speak this one slowly. Let each phrase sink in. Your subconscious is listening, and it is receiving these words as instructions for what to create while you sleep. Now here is something crucial that Florence taught about speaking decrees. She said that you must speak them until you feel the click. The click is that moment when something inside you shifts, when the words stop feeling like empty phrases and start feeling like truth, when faith rises up and doubt falls away. Sometimes the click happens immediately. You speak the decree once and you feel it land with power. But more often, especially at first, you need to speak the decree multiple times before the click happens. You might need to say it 5 times, or 10 times, or 20 times. Keep speaking it until you feel that shift. You will know it when it happens. It feels like a door opening, like a light turning on, like suddenly you can breathe deeper. So, tonight, do not just speak these decrees once and move on. Speak them repeatedly. Speak them until something inside you says yes. Speak them until your body relaxes and your breath deepens, and you feel that quiet certainty that it is done. This is not vain repetition. This is consciousness training. You are training your subconscious to accept these truths, and repetition is how the subconscious learns. Florence told another story that I want you to hear, because it demonstrates how powerful the law of the word becomes when combined with sleep. There was a man who came to her, a talented artist who could not seem to make a living from his art. He would sell a painting occasionally, but never enough to support himself. He was bitter about it. He would say things like, "Real artists starve," or "You cannot make money doing what you love," or "The system is rigged against creative people." And every night, he would go to sleep angry, frustrated, rehearsing all the reasons why his financial struggle was inevitable and unchangeable. Florence taught him about the law of the word. She gave him specific decrees to speak every night before sleep. I am an artist, and I am wealthy. My art blesses people, and they joyfully pay me well for it. Money flows to me easily through my creative expression. The universe supports my gifts and compensates me abundantly. She instructed him to speak these decrees for at least 10 minutes every night right before sleeping, and to speak them until he felt the click, until something inside him actually started to believe them. For the first week, he hated it. The decrees felt like lies. His logical mind screamed at him that this was stupid, that words could not change his bank account. But he kept his commitment. Every night, 10 minutes of decrees. And somewhere in the second week, something shifted. He was speaking the decrees one night. I am an artist and I am wealthy. My art blesses people, and they joyfully pay me well for it. And suddenly, he felt it, the click. A quiet certainty rose up inside him that it was actually true. Not true in his visible circumstances yet, but true in a deeper way, true in the realm where all things are created before they manifest. After that night, everything changed. Within 2 weeks, he was contacted by a gallery he had approached a year earlier and been rejected by. They wanted to feature his work. Within a month, he sold 6 paintings at prices higher than he had ever charged before. Within 3 months, he had steady commissions and a waiting list of people who wanted to buy his art. The bitterness was gone. The struggle narrative was gone. He later told Florence that the decrees had not just changed his circumstances, they had changed his identity. He stopped being a struggling artist and became a successful artist. And once his identity shifted, his reality had no choice but to match it. This is what is going to happen for you over these 21 nights. You are going to speak your decrees faithfully, even when they feel false, even when your circumstances mock them, even when your logical mind protests. And somewhere in that journey, you are going to feel the click. Your identity is going to shift. You are going to stop being a person who struggles financially and become a person who prospers naturally. And once that identity shift happens at the level of consciousness, your outer world will reorganize itself to reflect your new inner truth. Now, I want to teach you something else about the law of the word that Florence discovered. She taught that certain words carry particular power when it comes to manifesting prosperity. And if you weave these power words into your before-sleep decrees, you accelerate your results dramatically. The first power word is now. Not someday, not eventually, not in the future, but now. When you say, divine supply flows to me now, you are collapsing time. You are bringing future abundance into present reality. You are instructing your subconscious that this is not a distant hope, but a current truth. Always use the word now in your prosperity decrees. The second power word is perfect. When you say my needs are met in perfect ways, or my supply comes from perfect sources, you are releasing your need to control how your prosperity arrives. You are acknowledging that infinite intelligence knows better than your limited human mind what is truly good for you and how best to bring it about. This removes resistance and opens you to receive in ways you might not have imagined or planned for. Always include the word perfect in your decrees. The third power word is easily. When you say money comes to me easily, or I prosper easily, you are dismantling the belief that wealth requires struggle, sacrifice, or suffering. You are affirming that prosperity is natural, effortless, flowing. This is crucial because many people have been taught that they have to work hard for money, that it should be difficult. That ease somehow means you do not deserve it. But Florence taught that divine supply flows like water, and water always takes the path of least resistance. When you align with spiritual law, prosperity comes easily, naturally, joyfully. Always use the word easily in your decrees. So weave these power words together in the decrees you speak tonight before sleep. Divine supply flows to me now, easily, from perfect sources. Money comes to me now, easily, in perfect ways. I prosper now, easily, through perfect channels. Speak these until you feel the click. Speak these until your body relaxes. Speak these until something inside you believes them. I want to share one more story with you before we move into the next practice, because this story illustrates what happens when you combine the law of the word with the power of sleep. There was a young woman who worked a job she hated for barely enough money to survive. Every morning, her alarm would go off, and her first thought would be, I do not want to go to work. I hate this job. I will never get ahead. And every night, she would go to sleep worrying about bills, rehearsing her frustration, speaking words of resentment about her situation. And naturally, her situation never improved. In fact, it seemed to get worse. Her car broke down. Her rent went up. She got passed over for a promotion. Everything she was decreeing with her words was manifesting perfectly in her experience. Then, a friend introduced her to Florence Scovel Shinn's teachings. The woman started implementing the law of the word, particularly before sleep. Every night, she would speak decrees for 20 minutes before allowing herself to fall asleep. I am in my perfect place, doing my perfect work, for my perfect pay. Money flows to me now, in perfect ways. I am grateful for my increasing good. She spoke these decrees even though they felt completely false at first. She spoke them even though her circumstances had not changed. She spoke them because she was learning that words do not describe reality. Words create reality. After 10 nights of this practice, she had a dream. In the dream, she was working in a beautiful office, doing work she loved, feeling fulfilled and well compensated. The dream was so vivid that when she woke up, she could still feel the emotions from it. 3 days later, she randomly ran into an old colleague from college. They got to talking, and the colleague mentioned that her company was hiring for a position that sounded remarkably similar to what the woman had seen in her dream. The woman applied, interviewed, and was offered the job at a salary 50% higher than what she had been making. She started the new job exactly 3 weeks after she began her nightly decree practice. Coincidence? Florence would say there is no such thing as coincidence. There is only consciousness creating circumstances. That woman's nightly decrees had reprogrammed her subconscious mind. Her subconscious, while she slept, had reached out into the invisible realm and begun rearranging circumstances to match her new words, her new beliefs, her new expectations. The dream was her subconscious showing her what it was creating. The chance meeting was divine intelligence orchestrating the manifestation. And the new job was the inevitable result of her changed consciousness. This will be your story as well. You might not get a new job. Your manifestation might look completely different. But as you faithfully speak, your prosperity decrees every night before sleep for 21 nights, as you train your subconscious to accept abundance instead of lack, as you use your word to create instead of just describe, you will see circumstances begin to shift. Opportunities you did not expect will appear. Money will flow from sources you did not anticipate. Doors that seemed locked will swing open. Not because you got lucky, not because the universe finally decided to favor you, but because you changed your consciousness, and consciousness is the only true creative power there is. So tonight, in that sacred hour before sleep, you will speak your decrees. You will use your power words. You will speak until you feel the click, and then you will release it all to infinite intelligence, trusting that while you sleep, divine forces are working on your behalf, arranging circumstances, magnetizing opportunities, preparing your prosperity. Your job is not to figure out how it will happen. Your job is only to keep your consciousness aligned with abundance through the power of your spoken word. Do this faithfully and watch miracles unfold. Now I want to take you into what Florence Scovel Shinn called the divine treasury. And this is where prosperity manifestation becomes truly mystical, truly powerful, truly transformative. She taught that in the invisible realm, there exists an actual storehouse of supply with your name on it. Not metaphorically, not symbolically. Actually, she said that before you were even born into this physical body, infinite intelligence prepared everything you would ever need for your entire lifetime. Every dollar you will ever require, every resource you will ever use, every opportunity you will ever need, all of it already exists, already prepared, already marked with your name, waiting in the divine treasury for you to claim it. Most people never access this treasury because they do not know it exists. They go through life thinking they have to create their wealth from scratch, that they have to figure out how to generate money through their own effort and cleverness. And so they struggle, they strain, they work themselves to exhaustion, not realizing that all the wealth they will ever need already exists, and their only job is to align their consciousness with it so it can flow from the invisible realm into their visible experience. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, you are going to do something that will open the door to your divine treasury. Florence called this practice the Golden Door Meditation, and it is one of the most powerful prosperity visualizations ever taught. Here is how it works. After you have spoken your burden decree, after you have repeated your wealth lullaby, after you have spoken your power word decrees, you are going to close your eyes and imagine yourself standing before a massive golden door. This door is ornate, beautiful, glowing with divine light, And carved into the door, in letters that shine like the sun, is your name. This is the entrance to your divine treasury. This is the door that leads to all the supply that has been prepared for you since before time began. As you stand before this door in your imagination, I want you to really see it. Notice every detail. How tall is the door? What is the texture of the gold? Can you see your reflection in it? Are there symbols carved into it? Jewels embedded in it? The more vivid you make this image, the more powerfully it will imprint on your subconscious mind. Now, as you stand there looking at this golden door with your name on it, I want you to hear a voice. It is the voice of Florence Scovel Shinn herself, or perhaps the voice of your higher self, or perhaps the voice of God. And the voice says to you, this is your treasury. Everything inside belongs to you. It has always belonged to you. It is your divine inheritance. All you must do is open the door and receive. Now, in your visualization, reach out and place your hand on the door. Feel the gold beneath your palm. It is warm. It pulses with life. It recognizes your touch because you are the only one who can open this door. It responds only to you. Now push the door gently and watch as it swings open easily, silently, revealing what is inside. And what you see takes your breath away. You see stacks of currency, more money than you have ever seen in one place. You see gold coins spilling from chests. You see jewels and precious metals. You see documents representing investments, properties, businesses. You see everything that represents wealth in whatever form feels real and meaningful to you. But here is what is most important. As you look at all this abundance inside your divine treasury, you do not feel greedy or grasping. You feel peaceful. You feel that this is simply yours, the way the clothes in your closet are yours, the way the food in your kitchen is yours. It is not something you have to earn or deserve or beg for. It is simply your supply, prepared by divine love, waiting for you to claim it. And you hear that voice again, saying, take whatever you need. There is no limit. There is no shortage. This treasury is infinite. The more you take, the more appears. This supply can never be depleted because it flows from the infinite source. Now, in your visualization, I want you to step inside your treasury. Walk among the abundance. Touch it. Feel its texture. Pick up a stack of currency. Feel the weight of it in your hands. Open a chest of gold coins and run your fingers through them. Hear the sound they make as they cascade through your hands. Put a jewel up to the light and watch it sparkle. Make this experience as sensory-rich as possible. Engage all 5 senses. What do you smell in this treasury? Perhaps it smells like precious metals, or fine paper, or wealth itself if wealth had a scent. What do you hear? Perhaps there is beautiful music playing. Perhaps you hear the voice of divine assurance telling you that all of this is yours. As you stand in your divine treasury, surrounded by infinite abundance, I want you to make a decree. Say it in your visualization. Say it out loud as you practice this meditation. Say it with absolute authority. I claim my inheritance now. I open myself to receive unlimited supply from this divine treasury. Money flows from this storehouse to me now, in perfect amounts, at perfect times, through perfect channels. As I sleep tonight, the treasures from this invisible realm materialize in my visible world. It is already done, and so it is. Now, still in your visualization, I want you to see yourself taking something from the treasury. Maybe you take a specific amount of money that you need right now. Maybe you take a golden key that represents access to all opportunities. Maybe you take a jewel that represents your most precious desire fulfilled. Whatever you take, hold it close to your heart. Feel it merge into your chest, into your heart center, becoming part of you. You are not just receiving wealth. You are becoming wealth. You are not just accessing abundance. You are embodying abundance. And now, still holding that sense of wealth merged into your heart, walk back out through the golden door. But notice that the door does not close behind you. It stays open. It will always stay open. You have unlimited access to this treasury anytime you need supply, anytime you need provision, anytime you need resources. You can return to this door, walk through it, and take what you need. This is your birthright. This is your inheritance. This is the promise of infinite supply made manifest in a way your subconscious mind can grasp and work with. Now open your eyes if they were closed. How do you feel? Do you feel different than you did before this visualization? Many people report feeling a sense of deep peace after the Golden Door meditation, a knowing that they are actually taken care of, that supply is not something they have to desperately chase, but something that is already prepared and waiting for them. This feeling, this consciousness, is what you will carry into sleep. And while you sleep, your subconscious will continue to work with this image, continue to open that door, continue to bring treasures from the invisible realm into your visible experience. Florence Scovel Shinn taught this Golden Door meditation to hundreds of people, and the results were often astounding. There was a woman who had been unemployed for 8 months, depleted her savings, was facing eviction. She learned the Golden Door meditation and practiced it every single night before sleep for 2 weeks. On the 15th night, she had a dream. In the dream, she walked through her golden door and picked up an envelope. When she opened the envelope, there was a check inside with a specific amount written on it. She could see the numbers clearly in her dream. She woke up and wrote down the amount. It was $8,347, an oddly specific number. 3 days later, she received a phone call from a company she had worked for 6 years ago. They were settling a class action lawsuit about unpaid overtime, and she was one of the employees owed compensation. The settlement amount? $8,347. The exact amount she had seen on the check in her dream when she walked through her golden door. This was not coincidence. This was her subconscious mind, working with the Golden Door visualization during sleep, reaching into the invisible realm and pulling forth supply that was already prepared for her. Or consider the man who was struggling with his business, on the verge of bankruptcy, terrified he would lose everything he had built. He started practicing the Golden Door meditation nightly. For the first week, nothing seemed to change in his outer circumstances, but he noticed he felt less anxious. He noticed he was sleeping better. He noticed that when he woke up, instead of his first thoughts being fear and worry, his first thoughts were a quiet confidence that somehow everything would work out. On the 9th night of the practice, he had a dream where he walked through his golden door and found, instead of money, a blueprint, a detailed plan for restructuring his business in a way he had never considered. He woke up and immediately drew the blueprint from his dream before he forgot any details. Then he implemented it. The restructuring required him to let go of aspects of his business he had been clinging to out of fear, and to expand into an area he had been avoiding because it seemed too risky. But the dream had been so clear, so detailed, so confident, that he trusted it. Within 3 months, his business had completely turned around. Within 6 months, he was more profitable than he had ever been. He later said that the Golden Door meditation did not just bring him money. It brought him divine guidance. It gave him access to infinite intelligence that knew better than his limited human mind how to solve his problems and create prosperity. This same access is available to you starting tonight. You do not have to be special. You do not have to be more spiritual, or more worthy, or more evolved. You simply have to practice the Golden Door meditation faithfully before sleep, and trust that your subconscious mind knows how to work with it, even if your conscious mind does not fully understand how it works. Your job is not to understand. Your job is simply to do the practice, night after night, and watch what happens. Now I want to teach you something that Florence called the language of supply, and this is crucial for keeping your divine treasury open and flowing. She observed that most people, even when they start practicing prosperity consciousness, still speak what she called the language of lack in their daily lives. They will do their affirmations, do their visualizations, speak their decrees, but then during the day they will say things like, "I cannot afford that," or "That is too expensive," or "I do not have enough money for that." And every time they speak this language of lack, they are closing the door to their divine treasury. They are telling their subconscious that despite what they affirmed last night, the truth is still poverty, still limitation, still not enough. So Florence taught a practice of speaking only the language of supply, especially in the hour before sleep, but ideally throughout the day as well. Here is how it works. You eliminate certain phrases from your vocabulary completely. Never again say, "I cannot afford that." Never again say, "I do not have enough." Never again say, "That is too expensive." These phrases are decrees of lack, and they slam shut the door to your treasury. Instead, you learn to speak the language of supply in every situation. If something costs more than you currently have available, instead of saying, I cannot afford that, you say, I choose not to purchase that right now, or, that is not my highest priority at this moment. Do you feel the difference? Cannot afford makes you a victim of circumstances. Choose not to purchase makes you someone with agency, someone who is managing their resources wisely, someone who has the power to decide. One statement reinforces poverty consciousness. The other maintains prosperity consciousness, even while acknowledging current limitations. If you look at a price and your first instinct is to say, that is too expensive, catch yourself. Instead say, that is not aligned with my current intention, or I am investing my money elsewhere right now. Again, the shift is from victim language to empowered language, from lack consciousness to supply consciousness. Or better yet, when you see something expensive, instead of reacting with shock or judgment, simply acknowledge, there is someone for whom that price is perfect, and then bless them. Wish prosperity for the person who can easily afford that item. Because when you bless others' prosperity, you are affirming that prosperity exists, that wealth is real, that abundance is flowing in the world. And what you affirm for others, you call forth for yourself. Florence told a story about a woman who transformed her entire financial life by changing one phrase. This woman had a habit of looking at price tags and gasping and saying, I could never afford that. She said it multiple times a day, at the grocery store, looking at organic produce. I could never afford that. Walking past a car dealership, seeing a beautiful vehicle. I could never afford that. Browsing online, seeing a vacation package. I could never afford that. She was decreeing poverty dozens of times a day without even realizing it. When Florence pointed this out, the woman was shocked. She had no idea she was doing it. It was such an automatic response that she was not even conscious of it. Florence gave her a new phrase to use instead. Every time she was tempted to say, I could never afford that, she would instead say, that is coming to me now or something better. At first, it felt ridiculous. She would see a $10,000 handbag and have to say, that is coming to me now or something better. And her logical mind would scream that she was delusional, but she committed to the practice. Within 2 weeks, something amazing happened. The woman realized she had stopped obsessing over what she could not have and started noticing what she could have. Her focus had shifted. Instead of feeling deprived all the time, she felt abundant with what she already possessed. And then the outer circumstances started shifting. Within a month, she got an unexpected raise. Within 2 months, she received a settlement check from an insurance claim she had forgotten about. Within 3 months, her side business that had been barely breaking even suddenly took off. She did not end up buying a $10,000 handbag, nor did she want to. But her entire financial reality had elevated to a level of comfort and ease she had never experienced before, all because she stopped speaking the language of lack and started speaking the language of supply. So tonight and every night, in that hour before sleep, be vigilant about your language. Listen to the words coming out of your mouth. Are you speaking supply or lack? Are you decreeing abundance or poverty? Are you affirming that your divine treasury is open and flowing? Or are you declaring that you are cut off from provision? Your words matter. Your words create, especially in that sacred hour before sleep when your subconscious is becoming receptive to programming. Speak only the language of supply and watch your divine treasury overflow into your life. Let me give you specific phrases to use tonight and every night. When you think about your financial situation before bed, do not rehearse your problems. Instead say, my finances are in divine order. All my needs are being met. If you have bills due, instead of worrying about them, say, the money for these bills is already provided. I trust divine timing. If you want something you do not currently have money for, instead of feeling lack, say, this desire is the universe's way of showing me what is coming. I am grateful in advance for its arrival. Every phrase is moving you into supply consciousness, into alignment with your divine treasury, into the vibration where wealth can reach you. And here is the final practice I want to give you for this section. Florence called it the nighttime gratitude ritual, and it is incredibly powerful for keeping your divine treasury accessible. Right before you close your eyes to sleep, after all your decrees and visualizations, speak aloud 10 things you are grateful for financially. They do not have to be big things. In fact, It is often better to focus on small evidences of supply because they are easier for your mind to accept, and they train you to notice abundance that is already present rather than always focusing on abundance you are waiting for. So you might say, I am grateful for the roof over my head tonight. I am grateful for the comfortable bed I am lying in. I am grateful for the clean water I drank today. I am grateful for the food in my kitchen. I am grateful for the electricity that powers my home. I am grateful for the clothes I wore today. I am grateful for my health that allows me to work and earn. I am grateful for the relationships that enrich my life. I am grateful for the skills and talents I possess. I am grateful for the money that flowed to me today, even if it was just a small amount. Find 10 things. Speak them out loud or silently with real feeling. Let gratitude fill your chest. Let appreciation wash over you. Let thankfulness be the last emotion you feel before sleep takes you. Why is this so powerful? Because gratitude is the consciousness of abundance. When you are genuinely grateful, you cannot simultaneously feel lack. When you are in appreciation, you cannot simultaneously be in fear. Gratitude opens the door to your divine treasury wider than any other practice. It tells the universe, I see the good you have already given me. I acknowledge the supply that is already flowing. I am ready to receive more. And the universe always gives more to those who appreciate what they already have. This is not a rule imposed from outside. This is simply how consciousness works. Appreciation attracts. Gratitude magnetizes. Thankfulness multiplies. End every night for the next 21 nights with this gratitude practice and watch what happens. You will start noticing money showing up in unexpected ways. You will start seeing opportunities you were blind to before. You will start feeling wealthy even before your bank account reflects it. And that feeling of wealth is what actually creates the wealth in your external world. Your divine treasury is real. It is open. It has your name on it. All the supply you will ever need is already prepared. Tonight, walk through that golden door. Tonight, speak the language of supply. Tonight, end with gratitude. And trust that while you sleep, infinite intelligence is materializing treasures from the invisible realm into your visible experience. As you continue to relax now, as your body settles more deeply into comfort, as your breath slows and your mind begins to quiet, I want to share with you something that Florence Scovel Shinn discovered about the connection between sleep and what she called perfect self-expression. She taught that every person has within them a unique gift, a divine calling, a perfect way of serving the world that only they can fulfill. And when you are living in your perfect self-expression, when you are doing the work you were born to do, prosperity flows to you effortlessly, naturally, inevitably. Money is no longer something you chase. It becomes something that chases you because you are providing such value, expressing such authenticity, fulfilling such purpose that the universe cannot help but compensate you abundantly. But here is the challenge. Most people do not know what their perfect self-expression is, or they have a vague sense of it but are terrified to pursue it, or they are stuck in work they hate, trapped in careers that drain them, living far below their potential because they cannot see a way out. And every night, they go to sleep carrying the weight of that misalignment. They go to sleep knowing they are not living their purpose, not expressing their gifts, not doing what they came here to do. And so their sleep becomes another 8 hours of reinforcing frustration, of deepening resignation, of programming their subconscious to accept a life of compromise. But Florence taught that sleep can be used for the opposite purpose. Sleep can be the time when you discover your perfect self-expression, or when you receive guidance about how to move toward it, or when you are given the courage and clarity to finally pursue it. Your subconscious mind, when properly directed during sleep, has access to infinite intelligence. It knows what you are meant to do. It knows what gifts are buried inside you. It knows what path would bring you both fulfillment and financial abundance. Your conscious mind might be confused, conflicted, clouded by fear, but your subconscious knows. And during sleep, you can access that knowledge. So tonight, as part of your prosperity programming, you are going to ask a question before you sleep. After your burden decree, after your wealth lullaby, after your power word decrees, after your golden door visualization, after your gratitude practice, you are going to speak this question out loud or silently with genuine openness to receiving an answer. The question is this: What is my perfect self-expression? What work am I meant to do in this world? What gifts am I meant to share? How can I serve in a way that brings me both joy and abundant compensation? Speak this question as a genuine inquiry, not as a desperate plea. You are not begging for an answer. You are simply opening yourself to receive wisdom that already exists within you. Then release the question. Do not try to figure out the answer with your conscious mind. Do not analyze or strategize or worry about it. Simply ask the question, release it to your subconscious and to infinite intelligence, and trust that while you sleep, the answer will be given to you in whatever form is most useful. It might come as a dream. It might come as a feeling when you wake up. It might come as a sudden knowing that appears in the middle of the day. It might come as a seemingly chance conversation, or a book that falls into your hands, or an opportunity that presents itself unexpectedly. However it comes, trust that it will come. Florence told the story of a woman who asked this question every night for 2 weeks. What is my perfect self-expression? The woman had worked in banking for 15 years. She was good at her job, but she felt no passion for it, no sense of purpose. It was just a paycheck. And despite being good at it, she never seemed to get ahead financially. There was always just enough, never abundance. She asked the question faithfully every night before sleep. What is my perfect self-expression? For the first week, nothing seemed to happen. No dreams she could remember. No sudden insights. No clarity. But she kept asking. On the 9th night, she had a dream. In the dream, she was teaching a room full of people about money. Not banking, not finance in a technical sense, but how to have a healthy relationship with money, how to manage it wisely, how to release fear about it. In the dream, the people in the room were deeply engaged, asking questions, taking notes, experiencing breakthroughs, and the woman woke up with a feeling she had not felt in years. Excitement, purpose, a knowing that this was what she was meant to do. She started teaching free workshops on financial wellness at her local library, just 1 hour on Saturday mornings. Within a month, 20 people were attending. Within 3 months, 50 people. Someone who attended suggested she should charge for this, that her teaching was valuable and people would pay. She was terrified. Who was she to charge money for teaching? But she remembered Florence's teachings about perfect self-expression and how prosperity flows naturally when you are doing your soul's work. So she started offering paid courses. Within 6 months, she was earning more from her weekend teaching than from her full-time banking job. Within a year, she had quit banking entirely and was running her own financial coaching business, serving hundreds of clients, earning triple what she had made in banking and feeling more alive, more purposeful, more aligned than she had ever felt in her life. The answer had been inside her all along, but it took asking the question before sleep, consistently, faithfully, and trusting her subconscious to reveal it, for that answer to surface, and for her to have the courage to act on it. This can happen for you too. Your perfect self-expression is already known to your subconscious. It is already clear to the infinite intelligence that designed you. You simply need to ask the question, create space for the answer, and then have the faith to act when the answer comes. Now, as your body becomes even more relaxed, as your breathing becomes even slower and deeper, as you drift closer to the edge of sleep, I want to teach you what Florence called the law of non-resistance, and this is crucial for allowing prosperity to actually reach you during your sleep programming. She taught that you can do all the affirmations in the world, speak all the decrees, visualize all the abundance, but if you are in resistance, none of it will manifest. Resistance is like trying to fill a cup that has holes in it. You can pour and pour and pour, but the cup will never fill because it cannot hold what you are pouring into it. What is resistance? Resistance is when part of you wants prosperity, but another part of you fears it, doubts it, believes you do not deserve it, or worries about what it might cost you. Resistance is when you affirm abundance, but then immediately think of all the reasons it might not come. Resistance is when you visualize wealth, but feel guilty about wanting it. Resistance is when you speak decrees, but your body tenses up because you do not really believe them. Resistance is any place where you are simultaneously pushing for something and pushing against it. And here's the problem. Most people are completely unaware of their resistance. Consciously, they genuinely want money. They genuinely desire prosperity. They would tell you with complete honesty that they want to be financially abundant. But subconsciously, there is fear. Subconsciously, there are beliefs that wealth is dangerous, or that rich people are bad, or that they do not deserve prosperity, or that wanting money makes them selfish. And that subconscious resistance blocks everything their conscious mind is trying to create. So how do you dissolve resistance, especially before sleep? Florence taught a practice she called the sacred release, and it works like this. After you have done all your prosperity programming, after your decrees and visualizations and gratitude, you speak one more statement before allowing yourself to drift into sleep. You say, I release all resistance to my prosperity. I release all fear of wealth. I release all guilt about abundance. I release all beliefs that I do not deserve to be rich. I let go of any part of me that is blocking my good. I surrender completely to divine supply flowing to me now. Speak this slowly. Pause between each phrase and actually feel yourself releasing. You might feel it as a softening in your chest. You might feel it as a long exhale. You might feel it as a loosening of muscles you did not realize were tense. You might feel it as a quiet sense of peace washing over you. However you experience it, allow the release to be real. You are not just saying words. You are actually letting go of whatever has been keeping you separate from your prosperity. Florence worked with a man who was doing everything right on the surface. He was speaking his decrees. He was doing his visualizations. He was committed to his prosperity practices. But nothing was changing in his financial reality. In fact, things seemed to be getting worse. When Florence talked with him more deeply, she discovered that he had grown up watching his father become wealthy and then become an alcoholic. In the man's subconscious, wealth and addiction were linked. Prosperity meant the destruction of your life and relationships. So even though consciously he wanted money, subconsciously he was terrified of it. Every time he started to make progress financially, his subconscious would sabotage him to keep him safe from what it believed wealth would do to him. Once Florence helped him see this resistance, she taught him to do the sacred release practice every single night before sleep. I release all resistance to my prosperity. I release all fear that wealth will harm me. I release the belief that money will turn me into my father. I let go of the need to protect myself from abundance. I am safe to be wealthy. I am safe to prosper. He spoke these words every night for 3 weeks, and something profound happened. The fear dissolved. He could actually feel it leaving his body, and once the resistance was gone, once the subconscious blocks were cleared, prosperity started flowing to him easily. Within 2 months, his income had doubled. Within 6 months, he was wealthier than his father had ever been, and he was also sober, healthy, and in the best relationship of his life. The wealth did not destroy him because he had released the belief that it would. What resistance might you be carrying? You might not know consciously, but your subconscious knows. So tonight, speak the sacred release. Let go of whatever is blocking your good, and trust that as you sleep, those released resistances will be cleared from your consciousness, leaving you open and ready to receive all the prosperity that has been trying to reach you. Now, as you sink even deeper into relaxation, I want to speak to you about something Florence called the sleep decree of authority. She taught that there is a difference between asking for prosperity and commanding it. Most people spend their lives asking, pleading, hoping, wishing for wealth. But Florence said that asking positions you as a beggar and the universe as a reluctant giver. It creates the consciousness of lack, of needing permission, of not being sure if you are worthy to receive. But commanding is different. When you command your prosperity, you are speaking from a place of divine authority. You are not a beggar petitioning a separate God for scraps. You are a divine being claiming your inheritance. You are a child of infinite abundance, declaring what is already yours. This might feel uncomfortable at first. You might have been taught that it is arrogant or presumptuous to command. You might have been taught to be humble, to ask politely, to hope quietly. But Florence taught that false humility is actually a form of pride. Real humility is recognizing that you, by yourself, are nothing. But real power is recognizing that God within you is everything. And when you speak from that divine authority within you, when you command from that place of union with infinite intelligence, you are not being arrogant. You are being accurate. You are speaking truth. You are activating spiritual law. So tonight, after all your other practices, you are going to speak what Florence called the sleep decree of authority. And you are going to speak it with power, with conviction, with absolute certainty. Even if you do not feel certain yet, speak it as if you do. Your subconscious will respond to the tone and authority in your voice even before it responds to the words themselves. Here is the decree. I do not ask for prosperity. I command it. I do not hope for wealth. I claim it. I do not beg for supply. I decree it. Divine abundance flows to me now because I say so. Money comes to me now because I declare it. Prosperity is mine now because I command it in the name of the infinite power that dwells within me. Speak this decree now if you can. Feel how different it is from asking or hoping. Feel how your body responds to speaking with authority. You might feel taller. You might feel stronger. You might feel a surge of power in your chest or your belly. This is your divine authority activating. This is the God within you recognizing itself. This is spiritual law responding to a voice that speaks with certainty rather than doubt. Florence told a story about a woman who transformed her entire life by shifting from asking to commanding. This woman had been going to church every week and praying for financial help. She would kneel and say, "Please, God, if it be your will, help me with my bills. Please send me money. I am struggling so much. Please help me." And nothing changed. She kept praying the same prayer for months, and her situation kept getting worse. Finally, in desperation, she went to see Florence. Florence listened to her story and then said something that shocked the woman. She said, "Stop begging. Stop acting like God is withholding from you and you have to convince him to give to you. God is not separate from you. God is within you, and the power that created the entire universe dwells in you. So stop asking permission for what is already yours. Start commanding it." The woman was offended at first. She thought it was disrespectful to command God. But Florence explained that you are not commanding God as if God is separate from you. You are commanding from the God power within you. You are speaking as the divine authority that you are. The woman was willing to try. That night, instead of her usual begging prayer, she stood up straight, took a deep breath, and spoke with authority. "I command my financial freedom now. I decree that all my needs are met now. I claim divine abundance flowing to me now." She felt strange doing it, but she also felt something shift inside her. A new strength, a new knowing. Within 1 week, she received a phone call offering her a job she had not even applied for. Within 2 weeks, a debt she thought she would carry for years was forgiven due to a banking error in her favor. Within 1 month, she had more money in her account than she had seen in 5 years. The circumstances had not changed because God suddenly decided to favor her. The circumstances changed because her consciousness changed. She stopped being a beggar and became a commander. She stopped asking from weakness and started declaring from strength. And the universe, which only responds to consciousness, had no choice but to match her new vibration. Tonight, you are going to speak with that same authority, not with arrogance, but with certainty, not with ego, but with divine power. You are going to command your prosperity before you sleep, and you are going to trust that while you sleep, the entire universe will conspire to obey that command because spiritual law always responds to the voice of authority, and you are that authority. Now take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Feel your body sinking deeper into your bed, deeper into relaxation, deeper into the threshold of sleep. You have done the work. You have spoken the decrees. You have visualized the golden door. You have released resistance. You have commanded with authority. Now it is time to simply rest and trust. Trust that your subconscious mind knows what to do with all the programming you have given it. Trust that infinite intelligence is already working on your behalf. Trust that while you sleep, miracles are being arranged, circumstances are being orchestrated, and your prosperity is being prepared. You do not need to stay awake trying to figure out how it will happen. You do not need to keep your conscious mind engaged, trying to solve the problem. In fact, the best thing you can do now is let go, surrender, release control to a power far greater than your limited human mind. Florence taught that the divine works best when you are out of the way. So get out of the way. Let sleep take you. Let your conscious mind rest, and trust that when you wake tomorrow morning, you will be one day closer to the full manifestation of the prosperity you have claimed tonight. As you drift now, as your thoughts become more dreamlike, as the boundary between waking and sleeping begins to blur, let these final words settle into your consciousness. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Let those words become a gentle rhythm, matching your breath, lulling you deeper, carrying you softly into sleep. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. And as you continue to rest deeply now, as your body releases all remaining tension, as your mind floats peacefully between waking and dreaming, I want you to know that you are not alone in this journey toward prosperity. Florence Scovel Shinn herself walked this path. She understood struggle. She knew what it was like to wonder where the next dollar would come from. She experienced seasons of lack before she discovered the spiritual laws that transformed her into a woman of abundance who lived the last decades of her life in comfort, ease, and generous giving. And she left these teachings behind, not as abstract philosophy, but as practical tools that she herself had tested and proven in her own life. Everything you are learning tonight, everything you are practicing, everything you are programming into your subconscious as you prepare for sleep, these are not theories. These are laws. Laws as reliable as gravity, as consistent as the rising of the sun, as trustworthy as the turning of the seasons. Florence discovered that the spiritual realm operates according to precise principles, and when you align yourself with those principles, prosperity must follow. Not because you got lucky, not because you were chosen, but because you activated the law, and the law always produces the same result. Think about gravity. When you drop an object, it falls. Every single time. It does not matter if you believe in gravity or not. It does not matter if you feel worthy of gravity or not. It does not matter if you are a good person or a bad person. Drop the object, and it falls. Because that is the law of gravity, functioning impersonally, consistently, perfectly. Prosperity works the same way. When you align your consciousness with abundance, prosperity must manifest. Not because the universe decided to favor you, but because you activated the law, and the law cannot help but produce the result. It is not personal. It is not conditional. It is simply how spiritual mechanics work. So as you rest here tonight, know that you are not hoping prosperity might find you. You are not wishing the universe might choose you. You are activating law. You are setting in motion forces that must produce abundance in your experience. Just as surely as dropping a stone must produce the result of that stone falling to the ground. Florence taught this with such certainty, such confidence, such unwavering faith, because she had seen it work thousands of times in her own life and in the lives of everyone she taught. The law never fails. People fail to activate the law. People fail to maintain alignment with the law, but the law itself never fails. Tonight, you have activated the law. You have aligned your consciousness with prosperity. You have spoken the decrees, done the visualizations, released the resistance, commanded with authority. The law is now in motion. And just as a seed planted in fertile soil must eventually break through the earth and grow toward the sun, the seeds of prosperity you have planted in your subconscious tonight must eventually break through into your visible reality and manifest as money, opportunities, resources, and abundance. It is done. Not because I say so, not because you hope so, but because the law says so. Now breathe with me. Breathe in deeply, filling your lungs completely, feeling your chest and belly expand. Hold that breath for a moment, feeling the life force energy filling your body. And now release it slowly, feeling every muscle soften, feeling every worry dissolve, feeling every burden lift. Do this again. Breathe in abundance. Hold it. Feel it permeating every cell, and breathe out lack. Release it. Let it go forever. One more time. Breathe in prosperity. Hold it. Own it. Claim it. And breathe out poverty. Expel it. Reject it. Banish it from your consciousness. With each breath, you are becoming more and more aligned with wealth consciousness. With each exhale, you are releasing more and more of the poverty programming that has kept you struggling. Your body knows how to do this. Your subconscious knows how to do this. You do not need to understand the mechanism. You simply need to allow the process. Breathe in abundance. Breathe out lack. Breathe in supply. Breathe out limitation. Breathe in prosperity. Breathe out struggle. Let your breath carry away everything that has been blocking your good, and let your breath bring in everything that is yours by divine right. Florence taught that the breath is sacred because it is the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. With each breath, you are literally taking in life force, divine energy, spiritual substance. And with each exhale, you have the opportunity to release whatever no longer serves you. So use your breath now as a tool of transformation. As you breathe, you are not just oxygenating your body. You are consciously choosing what consciousness you will carry into sleep. You are deciding what programming your subconscious will work with through the night. Breathe in wealth, breathe out poverty, breathe in abundance, breathe out lack, breathe in peace, breathe out fear. As you continue breathing slowly and deeply, I want to remind you of something important. The work you are doing tonight is cumulative. Each night that you practice these teachings, you are building prosperity consciousness the way you would build muscle through consistent exercise. The first night, you plant seeds. The second night, those seeds are watered. The third night, they begin to sprout beneath the surface where you cannot yet see them. By the seventh night, roots are establishing. By the 14th night, shoots are pushing toward the light. And by the 21st night, you will see visible growth in your outer circumstances that reflects the invisible growth that has been happening in your consciousness. This is why Florence always emphasized the importance of consistency. One night of affirmations will not transform your financial life any more than one day at the gym will transform your body. But 21 nights of faithful practice will create a permanent shift in your consciousness. And that shift in consciousness will create a permanent shift in your financial reality. So do not be discouraged if you do not wake up tomorrow morning to find $1 million deposited in your bank account. Trust the process. Honor the timeline. Know that every single night of practice is moving you closer to the full manifestation of the prosperity that is already yours in the spiritual realm and is working its way into the physical realm. Think of it like an apple tree. When you plant an apple seed, you do not expect to pick apples the next morning. You know there is a process. The seed must germinate, must develop roots, must push up through the soil, must grow into a sapling, must mature into a tree, must produce blossoms, and finally, those blossoms will become apples. But here's the crucial thing. From the moment you plant that seed, if you provide the right conditions, water, sunlight, good soil, the apple tree is inevitable. The apples are guaranteed. You just have to wait for the process to complete. Your prosperity works the same way. The moment you began this practice tonight, the moment you spoke your first decree, the moment you visualized your golden door, you planted seeds in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. And if you provide the right conditions, which means consistent practice every night for 21 nights, your prosperity is inevitable. It is guaranteed. It is only a matter of time before the invisible becomes visible, before the spiritual manifests as physical, before the abundance that exists in consciousness takes form as money in your bank account. So rest in that certainty tonight. You do not need to worry about how it will happen. You do not need to figure out the details. You do not need to stay awake trying to solve the problem with your limited conscious mind. The infinite intelligence within you and around you knows exactly how to bring your prosperity about. Your job is simply to maintain alignment with abundance, to keep speaking the language of supply, to continue activating the law night after night, and to trust that what you have set in motion must come to completion. Florence often used the metaphor of radio waves to explain this. She would say that radio waves are always present in the air all around you, carrying music, voices, information. But if you do not have a radio tuned to the right frequency, you cannot hear any of it. The waves are there, the broadcast is happening, but you are not receiving it because you are not tuned in. Prosperity is the same way. Abundance is always broadcasting. Divine supply is always flowing. Infinite riches are always available. But if your consciousness is tuned to the frequency of lack, you cannot receive the abundance that is all around you. You can be standing in the middle of infinite supply and experience poverty, Not because the supply is not there, but because you are not tuned to the frequency where you can receive it. Everything you are doing tonight is adjusting your frequency. Every decree you speak is turning the dial. Every visualization you practice is fine-tuning the reception. Every resistance you release is removing static from the signal. And very soon, you will be perfectly tuned to the frequency of abundance. And when that happens, prosperity will pour into your life so naturally, so easily, so abundantly that you will wonder why you ever struggled, why you ever worried, why you ever believed that money was hard to come by. You will look back on this time of lack as if it were a strange dream, barely real, certainly not something that defines you or limits you anymore. And here is something beautiful that Florence taught. Once you tune yourself to the frequency of abundance, once you truly align your consciousness with prosperity, it becomes your new default setting. You do not have to work to maintain it the way you are working to establish it now. It becomes as natural as breathing. You will think abundant thoughts without trying. You will speak prosperous words without monitoring yourself. You will expect good to come to you without having to convince yourself. Wealth consciousness will be who you are, not something you are trying to achieve. And when wealth consciousness is your identity, wealth itself is inevitable. This is what happened to Florence herself. In her early years, she struggled like everyone else. She worked hard for every dollar. She worried about money. She experienced lack. But once she discovered these spiritual laws and applied them consistently, something shifted permanently. For the rest of her life, she lived in abundance, not because she was special or chosen or lucky, but because she had tuned her consciousness to prosperity. And once tuned, she stayed tuned. Money flowed to her easily. Opportunities sought her out. Resources appeared when needed. She was able to be incredibly generous, supporting others, giving freely, knowing that the more she gave, the more would flow to her, because she understood that she was not a reservoir trying to hold on to limited supply, but a channel through which infinite supply flowed. You are becoming that channel now. Tonight, as you sleep, the transformation is happening. Old neural pathways of poverty thinking are being dissolved. New neural pathways of prosperity consciousness are being formed. Old beliefs about money being scarce are being overwritten. New beliefs about divine supply being infinite are being installed. Your subconscious mind is being reprogrammed at the deepest levels, and when you wake tomorrow morning, you will be different. Not dramatically different in a way you can point to, but subtly, truly, permanently different in ways that will become obvious over the coming days and weeks. You might wake up feeling more peaceful about money than you have felt in years. You might wake up with a sudden idea or insight about how to increase your income. You might wake up with an urge to take an action that seems small, but will turn out to be significant. You might wake up and see an opportunity that was always there, but that you were blind to before because you were not tuned to the frequency where you could recognize it. However the shift shows up, trust it, follow it, act on it. Your subconscious is guiding you toward your prosperity, and your job is simply to cooperate with what is unfolding. Now, let your body sink even deeper into the bed beneath you. Feel the support of the mattress, the softness of the pillows, the warmth of the blankets around you. You are held, you are supported, you are safe. And just as your body is supported physically right now, your life is supported spiritually always. You are never alone. You are never truly without resources. The universe that created you is invested in your well-being, in your thriving, in your abundance. Not because you earned it or deserved it, but simply because you are an expression of divine consciousness. And it is the nature of divine consciousness to prosper, to flourish, to thrive. Florence would often remind people that poverty is not God's will for you. Lack is not a spiritual virtue. Struggle is not noble. God is abundance. The universe is infinite supply. And you, as an individualized expression of that divine abundance, are meant to experience prosperity in every area of your life, including financially. It is not selfish to want money. It is not unspiritual to desire wealth. It is simply you recognizing your true nature, your divine inheritance, your birthright as a child of infinite abundance. So release any lingering guilt about wanting prosperity. Release any shame about desiring comfort and ease. Release any belief that suffering somehow makes you more spiritual. Those are lies that have kept humanity poor for millennia. The truth is that your prosperity glorifies God because it demonstrates the law in action. Your abundance blesses the world because it allows you to give generously. Your wealth serves others because it makes you a channel through which divine supply flows to those around you. You are not prospering at anyone else's expense. There is no limited pie where your slice means someone else gets less. In the realm of divine substance, there is infinite supply for everyone. Your prosperity actually makes it easier for others to prosper because you are demonstrating that it is possible. You are proving that the law works. You are showing the way. This is why Florence was so passionate about teaching these principles. She knew that every person who learned to activate prosperity consciousness would become a light for others, a proof that the spiritual laws are real, a demonstration that abundance is not just for the lucky or the privileged, but for everyone who aligns themselves with the law. You are becoming that demonstration. Your life is becoming that proof. And as your prosperity manifests over these coming days and weeks, as money begins to flow to you in new and unexpected ways, as opportunities multiply and resources appear, others will notice. They will ask you what changed. They will want to know your secret. And you will be able to share these same teachings with them, multiplying the blessing, expanding the abundance, becoming a channel not just for your own prosperity, but for the prosperity of everyone you touch. For now, though, simply rest, simply receive, simply allow the work to be done in your subconscious, while your conscious mind releases all effort and all concern. The programming is complete, the seeds are planted, the law is activated. Your job now is simply to sleep and trust. Trust that infinite intelligence is working on your behalf. Trust that your subconscious knows what to do. Trust that the universe is conspiring for your good. Trust that your prosperity is on its way to you right now, moving toward you as surely as the dawn will come when this night ends. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Let these words become the rhythm of your breathing, the background of your dreams, the foundation of your consciousness as you drift deeper now, deeper into rest, deeper into sleep, deeper into the place where miracles are made and prosperity is born. Breathing slowly now, deeply now, peacefully now, allowing your awareness to become softer, gentler, more diffuse, like fog settling over a quiet lake in the early morning. Your body is completely at rest. Your mind is floating in that beautiful space between conscious thought and dreaming. And in this space, I want to speak to you about something Florence Scovel Shinn called the invisible bridge, the mysterious connection between where you are now and where you want to be, between your current financial reality and the abundance that is waiting for you. Most people think that if they cannot see the path from here to prosperity, then no path exists. They look at their current situation, they look at their desired outcome, and they cannot imagine how to get from one to the other. The gap seems too wide. The distance seems impossible, and so they give up before they even begin, deciding that prosperity might be possible for other people, but not for them, not with their particular circumstances, not with their particular limitations. But Florence taught something radical. She taught that you do not need to see the bridge. You only need to trust that the bridge exists, and then take the first step, and the next step will appear, and then the next, and then the next, until you find yourself standing on the other side wondering how you got there. She called this walking by faith and not by sight. It means you do not wait until you can see the entire path before you begin moving. You do not wait until you have all the answers before you take action. You do not wait until you feel completely confident before you step forward. You simply begin moving in the direction of your desire, trusting that infinite intelligence will light the way as you go, will provide the next step as you take the current step, will open doors as you approach them, even though you could not see those doors from where you were standing. This is what you are doing tonight, as you program your subconscious for prosperity. You are taking the first step onto the invisible bridge. You cannot see where this bridge leads. You do not know exactly how your prosperity will manifest. You cannot trace the path from your current bank balance to the abundance you desire. But you are stepping forward anyway, in faith, trusting that the bridge will hold you, trusting that the path will reveal itself, trusting that infinite intelligence knows the way even though your conscious mind does not. And here is what Florence discovered through decades of watching this principle work in people's lives. The bridge always appears, always. Not in the way you expected, not according to the plan you would have made, but it appears. The path reveals itself. The way opens up, sometimes dramatically in a sudden windfall or unexpected opportunity, sometimes gradually through small improvements that accumulate into major transformation. But it always appears when you have the courage to take that first step in faith. Let me tell you about a man who demonstrated this principle beautifully. He was an accountant, comfortable enough financially but not prosperous, not abundant, not living the life he dreamed of. He wanted to start his own consulting business, but when he looked at what that would require, giving up his steady paycheck, finding clients, building a reputation, he could not see how it would be possible. The bridge from employed accountant to successful consultant seemed impossibly long, impossibly fragile. So he stayed stuck for years, dreaming of something more but not daring to move toward it. Then he discovered Florence's teachings and started applying them. Every night before sleep, he did his prosperity programming. He spoke his decrees. He visualized his golden door. He saw himself as a successful consultant, serving high-level clients and earning abundantly. But he still could not see the path to get there. The bridge was still invisible. However, something in Florence's teachings gave him courage to take one small step. He decided to offer his services to one friend who owned a small business, doing some consulting work on weekends while keeping his regular job. It was a tiny step. He could not see how it would lead anywhere significant, but it was movement in the direction of his desire. That one small project led to a referral to another business owner. That referral led to another. Within 3 months, his weekend consulting work was earning him almost as much as his regular job. Within 6 months, he had enough clients lined up that he could see a path to leaving his job within the year. And within 9 months, he did leave, launching his consulting business full-time. Looking back, he could see the bridge that had appeared step by step. But standing at the beginning, before he took that first action, the bridge had been completely invisible. He had to step forward in faith, and the bridge appeared beneath his feet as he walked. This same invisible bridge is forming beneath you right now, tonight, as you rest here with prosperity consciousness being programmed into your subconscious mind. You do not need to see it yet. You do not need to understand how it will work. You only need to trust that when you wake tomorrow morning, and the next morning, and the morning after that, you will know what small action to take. You will feel an impulse to reach out to someone, or to investigate an idea, or to learn a new skill, or to apply for an opportunity. And when you feel that impulse, trust it. Move with it. Take that step. Because that is the bridge appearing, one plank at a time, one step at a time, leading you from where you are to the abundance that is already prepared for you. Florence taught that the universe speaks to us through intuition, through hunches, through sudden knowings that we cannot quite explain logically, but that feel true in a deep way. Your subconscious mind, once programmed with prosperity consciousness, will guide you through these intuitive nudges. It will prompt you to take actions that your conscious mind might dismiss as random or insignificant. But trust those promptings. Follow those nudges. They are the invisible bridge becoming visible, piece by piece, directing you toward your good. Now, as you rest even more deeply, I want to remind you of something else that Florence emphasized. The bridge appears not just through your actions, but also through divine synchronicity, through what people call coincidence, but what she knew to be spiritual law in action. Once your consciousness is aligned with prosperity, the entire universe begins to reorganize itself around you to support that prosperity. People you need to meet will cross your path. Information you need to know will come to you. Resources you need to access will become available. Doors you need to walk through will open. This is not magic. This is not luck. This is how consciousness creates. When you change your inner world, your outer world must change to match it, and that change happens through a million small adjustments in circumstance, in timing, in connection. You cannot orchestrate all of that with your conscious mind. You cannot plan for all the synchronicities that need to happen. But you do not need to. Infinite intelligence orchestrates all of it perfectly when you simply align your consciousness and then trust the process. There was a woman Florence worked with who needed exactly $10,000 to prevent foreclosure on her home. She had 30 days. She had no idea where the money would come from. Her salary could not cover it. She had no savings. She had already borrowed from everyone she knew. By all logical assessment, there was no bridge from her current situation to having $10,000 in 30 days. But she applied Florence's teachings. Every night, she programmed her subconscious for prosperity. She visualized her golden door. She saw herself with the money, the foreclosure canceled, her home secure. She spoke her decrees with absolute faith, even though her circumstances screamed the opposite. And here is what happened. On day 12, she received a phone call from a distant cousin she had not spoken to in 15 years. The cousin had been going through old family papers and found a savings bond that had been purchased for the woman by her grandmother decades ago, when she was a child. The cousin had no idea if the bond was still valid, but thought she should let the woman know about it. The woman took the bond to the bank, barely daring to hope. It was worth $11,300, more than she needed, with 4 days to spare before the deadline. Coincidence? Florence would laugh at that word. She would say this is divine synchronicity. This is infinite intelligence arranging circumstances perfectly. That savings bond had existed all along, but the woman did not know about it. The cousin could have found those papers any time in the last 15 years, but happened to find them exactly when the woman needed them. The timing was perfect. The amount was perfect. The entire sequence of events was orchestrated by intelligence far beyond human planning. But it only happened because the woman aligned her consciousness with prosperity and trusted the invisible bridge. This same orchestration is happening for you now, tonight, as you sleep. While your conscious mind rests, while your body restores itself, infinite intelligence is working behind the scenes of your life, arranging synchronicities, preparing meetings, organizing circumstances, timing events perfectly to support your prosperity. You do not need to figure out how. You do not need to control when. You only need to maintain your consciousness of abundance and watch for the signs of the bridge appearing. And here is how you will know the bridge is forming. You will notice an increase in what Florence called fortunate coincidences. You will think of someone and they will call you. You will need information and it will appear in an article you happen to read. You will wonder about an opportunity and someone will mention exactly that opportunity in casual conversation. You will feel drawn to go somewhere or do something for no logical reason, and that seemingly random choice will lead to exactly what you needed. These are not accidents. These are the invisible bridge becoming visible. These are divine synchronicity in action. These are the universe saying yes to your prosperity consciousness. When you notice these things happening, and you will notice them with increasing frequency as your prosperity programming deepens, do not dismiss them. Do not call them coincidence. Recognize them for what they are. Acknowledgements from the universe that you are aligned, that the law is working, that your prosperity is manifesting, and speak gratitude. Say thank you. Express appreciation, because gratitude amplifies the flow. Gratitude tells the universe to send more. Gratitude is the consciousness that keeps the bridge strong and the path clear. Breathe deeply now, feeling your entire body completely relaxed, every muscle soft, every tension released. As you breathe, imagine that you are breathing in golden light, the light of divine abundance, the light of infinite supply. See this golden light entering your lungs, spreading through your bloodstream, filling every cell of your body with the frequency of prosperity. With each breath, you are becoming more and more aligned with wealth, more and more attuned to abundance, more and more magnetized to money. And as you exhale, imagine that you are releasing gray smoke, the smoke of old poverty programming, the smoke of limitation beliefs, the smoke of everything that has kept you struggling financially. Breathe in golden light. Breathe out gray smoke. Breathe in abundance. Breathe out lack. Breathe in wealth. Breathe out poverty. With each cycle of breath, you are transforming at the cellular level, at the consciousness level, at the vibrational level. You are literally becoming a different person, a person who naturally attracts prosperity, a person for whom wealth is normal, a person who lives in abundance. Now, let your breathing return to its natural rhythm, slow and steady, peaceful and easy. And as you breathe naturally, I want you to imagine that you are floating on a gentle river. The river is made of golden light, warm and soothing. You are completely supported by this river. You are completely safe. And this river is carrying you somewhere. You do not need to swim. You do not need to paddle. You do not need to figure out the direction or worry about the destination. The river knows where to take you. The current is gentle but sure, and it is carrying you, effortlessly, inevitably, toward your prosperity. All around you as you float, you see the banks of the river. You see beautiful landscapes. You see opportunities appearing like flowers on the shore. You see resources accumulating, like treasures waiting to be claimed. You see people waving to you, people who will help you, people who will support you, people who will open doors for you. Everything you need for your journey to prosperity is lining the banks of this river, and the river is carrying you past all of it at exactly the right pace, bringing you to exactly the right places at exactly the right times. You do not need to reach out and grab. You do not need to strain or struggle. You simply need to float and trust. The river of divine supply is carrying you. The current of infinite abundance is moving you. The flow of universal prosperity is transporting you toward your good. Relax completely into the river. Let it hold you. Let it carry you. Let it deliver you to the abundance that has been prepared for you since before you were born. As you float on this river of golden light, you begin to hear a voice. It is the voice of Florence Scovel Shinn, speaking to you across time, speaking to you across the veil between the seen and unseen, offering you the wisdom she gained through a lifetime of studying and teaching spiritual law. And she says to you, "Dear child of infinite abundance, you are exactly where you need to be. Every experience you have had, every struggle you have endured, every challenge you have faced has been preparing you for this moment. This moment when you finally understand that prosperity is not something you chase, but something you claim. Not something you earn, but something you inherit. Not something outside you, but something within you." And she continues, "Tonight as you sleep, mighty forces are working on your behalf. Angels you cannot see are arranging circumstances. Divine intelligence you cannot comprehend is orchestrating synchronicities. The universe that created galaxies and orchestrates the movement of planets is focusing its attention on bringing your prosperity to fruition. You are loved, you are supported, you are provided for. Your good is coming to you now, not because you deserved it through suffering, not because you earned it through struggle, but simply because you are a beloved child of an abundant universe, and it is the nature of the universe to prosper its children. Rest now in that assurance. Let those words sink into the deepest levels of your consciousness. You are loved, you are supported, you are provided for. Your good is coming to you now. Feel the truth of those words in your body. Feel them settling into your heart. Feel them becoming part of who you are. You are not hoping this is true. You are knowing this is true. You are not wishing it might happen. You are claiming it is happening. You are not asking for permission. You are accepting what is already yours. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Let these words become the soundtrack of your dreams tonight. Let them play on repeat in your subconscious. Let them be woven into every level of your being. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Drifting now, floating now, releasing all remaining conscious effort, allowing your awareness to become like a leaf on a gentle stream, carried effortlessly by the current of divine grace. Your body is so deeply relaxed that you can barely feel its boundaries anymore. Your mind is so peacefully quiet that thoughts arise and dissolve like ripples on still water, making no impression, leaving no trace. And in this beautiful state of surrender, in this sacred space between waking and sleeping, I want to speak to you about something that Florence Scovel Shinn considered the ultimate key to manifesting prosperity, the practice that brings all the other practices together into one unified field of abundance consciousness. She called it living from the end. What this means is that instead of living in the consciousness of wanting prosperity, of hoping for abundance, of working toward wealth, You live as if you are already prosperous right now, today, this moment. You do not wait until your bank account reflects abundance to feel abundant. You do not wait until money manifests to think like a wealthy person. You do not postpone the consciousness of prosperity until the circumstances of prosperity appear. You reverse the order. You become prosperous in consciousness first, and you trust that the circumstances must follow. This is perhaps the most challenging practice Florence taught because it requires you to contradict the evidence of your senses. Your bank account says you are poor. Your bills say you are struggling. Your circumstances say you are limited. And Florence asks you to look at all of that and say, no, that is not the truth. That is the old reality created by my old consciousness. I am creating a new reality with my new consciousness. And in my new consciousness, I am already wealthy. The money is already mine. The abundance is already flowing. It is done, and I will live from that, knowing even before I see the proof. This is what it means to live from the end. The end is prosperity fully manifested. And instead of living from where you are and hoping to someday arrive at the end, you live as if you have already arrived. You think thoughts of abundance, not thoughts of lack. You speak words of wealth, not words of poverty. You make decisions from prosperity consciousness, not scarcity consciousness. You carry yourself with the confidence of someone who knows they are provided for, not with the anxiety of someone who fears they will not have enough. You live from the end, and here is why this works. Consciousness always creates. Your outer world is always a perfect mirror of your inner world. So if your inner world is still aligned with poverty, if you are still thinking and feeling and acting from lack, then no matter how many affirmations you speak, no matter how many visualizations you do, your outer world will continue to reflect poverty because that is the consciousness you are actually living from. But when you genuinely shift to living from prosperity consciousness, when you truly embody the feeling of already being wealthy, then your outer world has no choice but to reorganize itself to match your new inner reality. The circumstances must change because consciousness creates circumstances. Florence told a story about this that I want you to hear as you drift deeper into sleep, because this story will plant itself in your subconscious and work powerful changes while you rest. There was a woman who came to Florence, a woman who was so poor that she was living in a single room, eating one meal a day, wearing clothes that were threadbare and shoes that had holes in the soles. This woman had been practicing affirmations and visualizations for months with no visible results. She was becoming discouraged, ready to give up, convinced that spiritual law might work for others, but not for her. Florence looked at this woman and asked her a strange question. She said, "When you walk down the street, how do you carry yourself?" The woman was confused by the question, but she answered honestly. She said, "I walk with my head down. I try to be invisible. I am ashamed of my clothes, ashamed of my poverty. I do not want anyone to see me." And Florence said, "There is your problem. You are living from poverty. You are embodying lack. You are broadcasting to the universe with every step you take, with every thought you think, with every feeling you feel, that you are a poor person. And so the universe keeps you poor because it is simply giving you what you are claiming through your consciousness." Florence gave the woman an assignment that seemed almost cruel given her circumstances. She said, "I want you to walk down the street tomorrow as if you are a millionaire. I want you to hold your head high. I want you to walk with confidence. I want you to look people in the eye. I want you to carry yourself as someone who knows they are abundant, someone who knows they are prosperous, someone who has nothing to be ashamed of. And I want you to do this even though your clothes are threadbare and your shoes have holes. I want you to live from the end." The woman thought Florence was insane. How could she pretend to be wealthy when she was so obviously poor? But she had tried everything else and nothing had worked. So she decided to try this too. The next day, she walked down the street with her head held high. She looked people in the eye. She smiled. She carried herself with the posture of someone who had every reason to be confident. It felt false at first. It felt like she was lying, but she kept doing it. Every day for a week, she walked as if she were wealthy, even though she was still poor. And then something remarkable happened. On the 8th day, a woman stopped her on the street. The woman said, "Excuse me, I have been noticing you this week. You carry yourself with such grace and dignity. I own a boutique, and I am looking for someone to help customers with fashion choices. Would you be interested in the position? The job paid more than the poor woman had ever earned. Within a month, she could afford a better room and better food. Within 3 months, the boutique owner made her a manager with a significant raise. Within 6 months, she had saved enough money to start her own small business. And within a year, she was genuinely prosperous, no longer pretending, no longer living from the end, because she had arrived at the end. But here is what Florence always emphasized about this story. The change did not begin when the boutique owner offered her the job. The change began when she started walking as if she were already wealthy. That shift in how she carried herself was a shift in consciousness. And once her consciousness shifted, the universe responded by bringing circumstances that matched her new consciousness. The job, the raise, the business, all of it was the outer manifestation of the inner transformation that happened when she stopped living from poverty and started living from prosperity. This is what you are learning to do tonight and every night for 21 nights as you practice these teachings. You are learning to live from the end. You are learning to think, feel, speak, and act as if you are already prosperous, even before the evidence appears in your bank account. And as you do this consistently, faithfully, persistently, your outer world will have no choice but to catch up to your inner world. The money will come, the opportunities will appear, the abundance will manifest. Not because you got lucky, but because you activated the law by shifting your consciousness. So let me ask you now, as you rest here in this deeply relaxed state, how will you live tomorrow? When you wake up in the morning and open your eyes, before you check your bank balance, before you think about your bills, before you remember your financial worries, who will you be? Will you be someone who is poor, someone who is struggling, someone who is afraid there will not be enough? Or will you be someone who is prosperous, someone who is abundant, someone who knows with certainty that divine supply is flowing to them? I'm inviting you to make a choice right now, even as you drift towards sleep. Choose to live from prosperity consciousness, starting the moment you wake tomorrow. Choose to think abundant thoughts before any circumstance suggests you should. Choose to speak wealthy words before your bank account justifies them. Choose to feel prosperous before the evidence appears. Choose to carry yourself with the confidence of someone who is provided for, protected, and blessed beyond measure. Choose to live from the end. And here is what will make this easier. Florence taught that you do not have to feel prosperous about everything all at once. You do not have to look at your massive debt or your empty bank account or your unpaid bills and somehow manufacture a feeling of abundance about all of that. That is too big a leap for most people. Instead, she taught to find one small area where you can genuinely feel abundant right now and start there. Maybe it is gratitude for the food in your kitchen. Maybe it is appreciation for the bed you are lying in. Maybe it is acknowledgement of the health you have, or the relationships you enjoy, or the skills you possess. Find something, anything, that allows you to access a genuine feeling of abundance, and then expand from there. When you wake tomorrow morning, before your mind starts cataloging everything you do not have, I want you to lie still for just 60 seconds and find 3 things you can feel genuinely grateful for. 3 things that make you feel, even in a small way, that you are blessed, that you are provided for, that you have abundance in your life. It might be as simple as, I am grateful I slept in a warm bed. I am grateful I have clean water to drink. I am grateful my body is healthy enough to get up and move today. Just 3 things. Feel real gratitude for them. Let that gratitude generate a feeling of abundance in your chest. And then carry that feeling with you as you get out of bed and begin your day. That is living from the end. Not pretending you have $1 million when you do not, but genuinely feeling abundant about what you do have and letting that feeling of abundance expand to color how you think, speak, and act throughout the day. And as you practice this daily, the feeling of abundance will grow stronger, will encompass more and more areas of your life, until one day you realize you feel genuinely wealthy even before your circumstances fully reflect it. And once you feel genuinely wealthy, becoming actually wealthy is inevitable, because consciousness creates circumstances. Now, as you sink even deeper into rest, I want to share with you one more practice that Florence taught for living from the end. She called it the morning decree, and it is specifically designed to set your consciousness for prosperity from the moment you wake up. Here is how it works. Tomorrow morning, before you get out of bed, before you check your phone, before you think about your to-do list, you are going to speak a decree. You can speak it aloud if you are alone, or silently if others are near, but you are going to speak it with conviction, with authority, with absolute faith. The decree is this: Good morning, divine abundance. Thank you for this day of infinite possibilities. Thank you for the prosperity that is flowing to me today from expected and unexpected sources. Thank you for the opportunities that will present themselves today. Thank you for the divine guidance that will direct my steps today. Thank you for the ease and grace with which my needs are met today. I am open to receive all the good you have prepared for me. I am ready to recognize the blessings you are sending. I am willing to act on the guidance you are giving. This is going to be a day of abundance, of joy, of perfect provision, and so it is. Speak this decree or one similar to it every single morning for the next 21 mornings, and watch what happens to your days. You will notice that you feel differently from the moment you open your eyes. You will notice that you see opportunities you would have missed before. You will notice that things go more smoothly, more easily, more gracefully. You will notice that by setting your consciousness for abundance first thing in the morning, you are creating a momentum that carries you through the day in a flow of prosperity rather than a struggle against lack. This morning decree is the bookend to your nighttime practices. At night, you program your subconscious for prosperity while you sleep. In the morning, you set your conscious intention for prosperity while you wake. You are working on both levels, conscious and subconscious, waking and sleeping, to create a unified field of abundance consciousness that permeates every moment of your life. This is how transformation happens. Not through one powerful practice, but through consistent alignment of your entire consciousness with the reality you are choosing to create. And speaking of consistency, I want to remind you again why 21 nights is so important. You are not just doing these practices for 3 weeks and then stopping. You are doing them for 3 weeks to establish a new habit, to create a new neural pathway, to make prosperity consciousness your new default setting. After 21 nights, these practices will start to feel natural rather than forced. The decrees will flow easily from your lips. The visualizations will appear vividly in your mind. The feelings of abundance will arise spontaneously. And at that point, you can continue the practices if you wish, or you can simply live from the prosperity consciousness that has now been established, trusting that it will continue to create abundance in your life automatically. Florence often compared building prosperity consciousness to learning to ride a bicycle. At first, it takes tremendous effort and concentration. You wobble, you fall. You have to think about every movement. But if you practice consistently, one day you suddenly find that you are riding effortlessly, not thinking about it, just doing it naturally. And once you learn, you never forget. Riding a bicycle becomes a skill you possess permanently. Prosperity consciousness is the same. Right now, you are in the wobbling stage. You are having to consciously practice the decrees, the visualizations, the living from the end. But if you practice faithfully for 21 nights, you will find that prosperity consciousness becomes a skill you possess permanently, something you do automatically, naturally, without having to think about it. And then your whole life will be different. You will move through the world as someone who expects abundance. You will make decisions from prosperity rather than from scarcity. You will see opportunities that are invisible to people operating from lack consciousness. You will attract people and circumstances that support your wealth. You will find that money comes to you more easily, more frequently, from more diverse sources than you ever experienced before. Not because you got lucky, not because the universe suddenly decided to favor you, but because you changed your consciousness. And consciousness is the only true creative power there is. As you continue to rest now, floating in that beautiful space of deep relaxation, I want you to imagine what your life will look like 21 days from now. See yourself waking up on that 22nd morning. How do you feel? What is different? Maybe you have more money in your bank account than you do today. Maybe you have received an unexpected check or payment. Maybe you have been offered a new opportunity or promotion. Maybe you have started a side business that is already generating income. Maybe you have had a financial burden lifted or a debt forgiven. However, prosperity has begun to manifest for you by then. See it, feel it, know it is coming. But more importantly than any specific circumstance, notice how you feel about money on that 22nd morning. The anxiety is gone. The fear has dissolved. The desperate grasping has released. You feel peaceful about finances. You feel confident in divine supply. You trust that your needs will always be met. You know that you are provided for. This shift in how you feel is even more valuable than any amount of money, because this shift in feeling is the foundation that will allow you to not only receive prosperity, but keep it, multiply it, and enjoy it without fear of losing it. Many people manifest money and then immediately lose it again because they have not shifted their consciousness. They still feel like a poor person who temporarily got lucky, so their subconscious sabotages the money to return them to their familiar state of poverty. But you are doing something different. You are shifting your identity. You are becoming a person who is naturally prosperous. And once that identity is established at the subconscious level, prosperity becomes permanent because it is no longer something that happens to you, but something that is you. This is Florence's ultimate teaching. You do not get wealthy. You be wealthy. You do not obtain prosperity. You embody prosperity. You do not attract abundance. You are abundance. And the practices you are doing every night are not about getting something you do not have. They are about remembering what you already are, awakening to your true nature as an individualized expression of infinite abundance, claiming your divine inheritance as a child of a universe that knows no lack. So rest now in the knowing that the work is done. The seeds are planted. The law is activated. Your consciousness is shifting. Your subconscious is being reprogrammed. Your reality is already changing, even though you cannot see all the evidence yet. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust that infinite intelligence knows exactly how to bring your prosperity about in the most perfect way, at the most perfect time, through the most perfect channels. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is simply to maintain your alignment with abundance, to keep speaking the language of prosperity, to continue living from the end, and to watch with wonder as the universe delivers your good. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. These words are becoming part of you now, woven into the fabric of your consciousness, integrated into every cell of your body, accepted by every level of your subconscious mind. They are no longer words you are speaking. They are truth you are living. They are reality you are creating. They are the new foundation of your financial life. And as you drift closer and closer to deep sleep now, as your conscious awareness fades and your subconscious takes over completely, know that the programming continues even after you stop hearing my voice. Your subconscious will continue to process these teachings all night long. It will continue to install new beliefs, create new neural pathways, establish new patterns of thought and feeling. By the time you wake tomorrow morning, you will already be different. The change will be subtle, perhaps barely noticeable at first, but it will be real. And each night you practice, the change will deepen, the transformation will expand, the prosperity consciousness will become more and more established until it is simply who you are. Tomorrow night, when you return to this recording, you will go even deeper. The practices will work even more powerfully. The programming will install even more permanently. And night after night for 21 nights, you will be building something magnificent, a consciousness of abundance that will serve you for the rest of your life, a knowing of divine supply that can never be shaken, a faith in prosperity that will carry you through any circumstance and bring you always back to abundance. So surrender now completely. Let go of all effort. Release all concern. Trust that you are held, you are guided, you are loved, and you are provided for beyond anything you have yet imagined. The universe is conspiring for your prosperity. Infinite intelligence is working on your behalf. Divine love is showering you with blessings. And all you need to do is rest and receive. Rest and receive. Rest and receive. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Breathing softly now, deeply now, completely at peace. Your body has surrendered all tension. Your mind has released all effort, and you are floating in that sacred space where the conscious gives way to the subconscious, where the visible dissolves into the invisible, where time itself becomes fluid and dreamlike. And in this space, I want to speak to you one final time tonight about the truth of who you are, the magnificent reality that Florence Scovel Shinn spent her entire life teaching. The truth that once you truly understand it and embody it will transform not just your financial life, but your entire existence. You are not a body having a brief spiritual experience. You are an eternal spiritual being having a temporary physical experience. You are not a limited human trying to connect with God. You are God in human form, individualized, expressing through this particular body and mind and personality. You are not separate from the source of all abundance. You are that source flowing through a unique channel. And when you truly grasp this, when you really let this truth sink into the deepest levels of your consciousness, you realize that prosperity is not something you need to attract from outside yourself. It is something you need to allow to flow from within yourself. Florence taught this with such clarity, such conviction, such unwavering certainty. She would say, "You do not need to beg God for money. You need to recognize that you and God are one, and God lacks nothing. Therefore, you lack nothing." The infinite abundance that created galaxies and keeps planets spinning is the same abundance that flows through you. There is no separation. There is no distance. There is no need to reach for something outside yourself. Everything you need is already within you, waiting to be claimed, waiting to be expressed, waiting to be made manifest through your consciousness. This is why all the practices you have learned tonight work. The burden decree works because when you cast your burden upon the divine within, you are acknowledging that there is a power within you greater than any external circumstance. The wealth lullaby works because when you say, "I am rich," you are claiming your true identity as one with infinite abundance. The golden door visualization works because it creates a mental image that allows your subconscious to access the invisible realm where all supply already exists. The power word decrees work because your word is creative. Your word shapes reality. Your word is the instrument through which the infinite expresses in the finite. But all of these practices are ultimately pointing you back to one fundamental truth. You are abundance. Not you have abundance, not you will get abundance, but you are abundance. Prosperity is not your goal. Prosperity is your nature. Wealth is not your destination. Wealth is your identity. Supply is not something you need to obtain. Supply is what you are in your essential being. And once you truly realize this, once this knowing becomes so deep and so certain that nothing can shake it, manifestation becomes effortless, because you are no longer trying to become something you are not. You are simply allowing yourself to express what you already are. Let this truth wash over you now as you rest. Feel it sinking into your heart, into your mind, into every cell of your body. I am abundance. I am prosperity. I am divine supply made manifest in human form, not arrogantly, not from ego, but simply acknowledging the truth of your divine nature. The infinite is expressing as you. The unlimited is experiencing through you. The eternal abundance of the universe is individualized in you. And when you know this, truly know this, deeply know this, then money must flow to you because you are no longer a person trying to get money. You are the very source from which money flows. Florence told her students that the greatest moment in her life was not when she became financially successful. It was the moment when she realized that she could never truly be poor because poverty is a lie about who she is. Her true self, her divine self, her eternal self is one with infinite abundance and can never experience lack. The circumstances might temporarily reflect poverty, but those circumstances are just the outpicturing of old consciousness. They are not truth. They are not reality in the deepest sense. They are just appearances that must change as soon as consciousness changes. And tonight, your consciousness has changed. Maybe you do not feel dramatically different yet. Maybe you still have the same bills, the same bank balance, the same financial challenges you had when you lay down tonight. But at a level deeper than conscious awareness, at a level where true transformation happens, you have changed. Seeds have been planted that will grow into a harvest of abundance. Programs have been installed that will run automatically to create prosperity. Neural pathways have been established that will guide you toward wealth. The work has been done. The law has been activated. The process has begun. And nothing can stop it now as long as you remain faithful to these practices, as long as you keep your consciousness aligned with prosperity, as long as you continue to live from the end. As you continue to drift now, deeper and deeper into peaceful sleep, I am going to guide you through a final meditation, a closing visualization that will seal all of tonight's programming into your subconscious and set the stage for powerful manifestation to occur while you sleep. Allow your imagination to become vivid and your emotions to become engaged as we move through this together. Imagine that you are standing in a beautiful temple, a sacred space of magnificent design and perfect peace. The walls are made of pure gold that seems to glow with its own inner light. The floor beneath your feet is smooth crystal that reflects your image perfectly, and the ceiling high above you is open to the night sky, and you can see stars beyond number shining down upon you. This is the temple of your own consciousness, the inner sanctuary where your true self dwells, where divine abundance lives eternally, where lack and limitation have never existed and never could exist. As you stand in this temple, you notice that there are many doors leading off in different directions. Each door represents a different area of your life. One door leads to relationships, another to health, another to purpose and meaning. But directly in front of you is the largest door of all, twice as tall as you are, made of the purest gold, and engraved upon it in letters that shine like diamonds is one word: prosperity. This is the door to your financial abundance. This is the entrance to all the wealth that has been prepared for you. And tonight, you are going to walk through this door. You approach the door slowly, reverently, feeling a sense of anticipation building in your chest. You reach out your hand and place it on the surface of the golden door, and the moment you touch it, the door recognizes you. It knows your energy. It has been waiting for you, and it swings open easily, effortlessly, revealing what lies beyond. And what you see takes your breath away. Beyond the door is a vast chamber filled with light so brilliant it almost hurts to look at. And as your eyes adjust to the radiance, you begin to see what the chamber contains. There are stacks of currency in every denomination. There are coins made of gold and silver, piled in great heaps. There are jewels and precious stones gleaming in the light. There are documents representing investments and properties and businesses. There are keys to vehicles and homes. There are symbols of wealth in every form you can imagine, and all of it, every single bit of it, is yours. But here is what strikes you most powerfully as you look at all this abundance. It does not surprise you. You do not feel shock or disbelief. Instead, you feel recognition. You feel a deep knowing that this has always been here, waiting for you, prepared for you, belonging to you. This is your inheritance. This is your divine right. This is the manifestation in symbolic form of the infinite supply that is your true nature. As you stand at the threshold of this chamber of prosperity, you hear a voice. It is the voice of Florence Scovel Shinn, speaking to you with warmth and authority and absolute love. And she says, "Welcome home, beloved child of abundance. This is what has been waiting for you all along. You have never been poor. You have never lacked. You have only been unaware of what was already yours. But tonight, you have awakened. Tonight, you have remembered. Tonight, you have claimed what has always been yours to claim. Step forward now and receive." And you do step forward. You walk into the chamber of prosperity with your head held high and your heart open. You walk to the center of the room where the light is brightest. And as you stand there, something miraculous happens. All the abundance in the room, all the money, all the gold, all the jewels, all the symbols of wealth, they begin to glow even brighter. And then they begin to dissolve into pure golden light. And that light begins to stream toward you from every direction, flowing into your body, into your heart, into every cell. You are not taking the abundance. You are becoming the abundance. It is merging with you, integrating into you, becoming part of your very essence. And you understand in this moment what Florence always taught. The abundance is not separate from you. The wealth is not outside you. The prosperity is not something you possess. It is what you are. You are made of the same substance as infinite supply. You are formed from divine abundance. Wealth is your nature. Prosperity is your essence, and nothing can ever separate you from it because it is you. As the golden light continues to fill you, you feel yourself changing. Every cell of your body is being reprogrammed for prosperity. Every neural pathway in your brain is being rewired for abundance. Every belief in your subconscious that has supported lack is being dissolved and replaced with absolute knowing of your infinite supply. The transformation is complete. You are no longer a person hoping to become wealthy. You are wealth itself in human form. You are prosperity embodied. You are abundance made manifest. And now the voice of Florence speaks again. She says, when you wake tomorrow morning, you will bring this knowing with you. You will carry this consciousness into your waking life. And everywhere you go, everything you do, everyone you meet will be touched by the frequency of abundance that now radiates from you. Money will be drawn to you like iron filings to a magnet. Opportunities will seek you out. Resources will appear. Divine synchronicity will arrange circumstances in your favor, not because you are special, but because you are aligned. Not because you are chosen, but because you have chosen. Not because you deserve it more than others, but because you have claimed it while others have not. And Florence continues, remember, beloved, that this abundance is not for you alone. It is meant to flow through you to bless others. You are not a reservoir meant to hoard. You are a river meant to give. The more you receive, the more you have to give. The more you prosper, the more you can bless. Let your wealth make you generous, not greedy. Let your abundance make you compassionate, not cold. Let your prosperity make you a channel of blessing for everyone your life touches. This is the highest purpose of wealth. This is why divine supply flows so freely to those who understand that they are stewards, not owners, channels, not endpoints. You nod in understanding, feeling in your heart the truth of these words. Yes, you think. Yes, I will be a blessing. Yes, I will give generously. Yes, I will use my prosperity to serve others. And the moment you make this commitment in your heart, the golden light flowing into you intensifies tenfold. It is as if the universe has been waiting for this, for you to understand that wealth is meant for service. And now that you understand, the floodgates open even wider. Now Florence says one more thing to you. She says, go now and rest. Sleep peacefully knowing that the work is done. Sleep deeply knowing that you are provided for. Sleep soundly knowing that your prosperity is already manifesting in the invisible realm and will soon appear in the visible realm. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust divine intelligence to bring your good to you in the perfect way at the perfect time. And when you wake, wake with gratitude. Wake with expectation. Wake ready to receive all the good that is flowing to you. Go now in peace and in prosperity. And with those words, you turn and walk back out of the chamber of prosperity. But you do not leave empty-handed. You carry within you now all the abundance you saw, integrated into your very being. The door closes behind you, but you know it will always open for you whenever you return to this inner temple. This is your sacred space. This is where divine supply lives within you. And you can visit anytime simply by closing your eyes and turning your attention inward. You find yourself back in the temple of your consciousness, and now you notice a soft golden glow emanating from your own body. You are radiating the light of abundance. You are emanating the frequency of prosperity. Anyone who comes near you will feel it, will be touched by it, will be blessed by it. You have become what Florence always knew you could become. A living demonstration of spiritual law, a walking testament to divine abundance, a proof that prosperity is the natural state of those who align their consciousness with their divine nature. Now let this entire visualization begin to fade. Let the temple dissolve. Let the images become dreamlike and distant, and simply rest in the feeling, in the knowing, in the deep certainty that you are abundant, you are prosperous, you are wealthy in your true nature. Let that knowing be the last conscious thought you have before sleep takes you completely. I am abundance. I am prosperity. I am divine wealth made manifest. And now, for these final moments before deep sleep claims you entirely, I am simply going to repeat the core affirmations in a gentle rhythm, matching the pace of your breathing, lulling you deeper and deeper into unconsciousness where the real work will continue all through the night. Let these words become the soundtrack of your dreams. Let them play on repeat in your subconscious. Let them be the last thing you hear and the first thing that rises from your subconscious when you wake. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance, breathing slowly, deeply, peacefully. Each breath carrying you deeper into rest. Each exhale releasing any remaining tension. Each inhale bringing in golden light, divine substance, infinite supply. You are safe. You are held. You are provided for. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Your body is completely relaxed now. Your mind is floating in that twilight space between waking and sleeping. Thoughts arise and dissolve like bubbles in water. You are not holding on to anything. You are not resisting anything. You are simply allowing, receiving, surrendering to the process of divine programming that is happening at levels deeper than conscious awareness. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. All through the night as you sleep, infinite intelligence is working on your behalf. Divine synchronicity is arranging circumstances in your favor. The universe that created stars and galaxies is focusing its attention on bringing your prosperity to fruition. You do not need to stay awake to make it happen. You do not need to figure out how. You only need to rest and trust. Rest and trust. Rest and trust. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Tomorrow morning when you wake, you will feel different. Maybe subtly, maybe profoundly, but different. Lighter, more peaceful, more confident, more certain that your good is coming. And with each night that you return to these practices, with each night that you program your subconscious for prosperity, the changes will deepen, the transformation will expand, the manifestation will accelerate. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. 21 nights. That is your commitment. 21 nights of faithfully practicing these teachings. 21 nights of programming your subconscious. 21 nights of aligning your consciousness with abundance. And by the end of those 21 nights, you will be a different person, living in a different reality, experiencing a different relationship with money. Not because the universe changed, because you changed. And when you change, everything changes. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Florence Scovel Shinn is with you in spirit tonight. Her teachings are alive in these words. Her wisdom is working through these practices. Her love is supporting your transformation. She spent her life discovering these principles so that you could use them. She tested these laws so that you could trust them. She proved these truths so that you could believe them. Honor her legacy by applying what she taught. Honor her wisdom by getting results. Honor her love by becoming prosperous and then helping others do the same. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Sinking deeper now. Drifting further now. Releasing completely now. Your conscious mind is fading. Your subconscious mind is taking over. And the programming continues even as you stop hearing my voice, even as you slip into dreams, even as you enter the deepest levels of sleep. The work continues. The transformation deepens. The manifestation progresses. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. You are loved. You are blessed. You are prosperous. You are abundant. You are rich. Not someday, not eventually, not when circumstances change, but now, right now, in this moment, in the truth of who you are, in the realm where all things are created before they manifest. You are already wealthy. The rest is just the unfolding of what is already done. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Good night, beloved. Good night, child of infinite abundance. Good night, heir to unlimited supply. Rest well, sleep deeply, dream prosperously, and wake tomorrow knowing that your life has changed forever. The seeds have been planted. The law has been activated. The transformation has begun, and nothing can stop your prosperity now. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. Sleep now. Sleep peacefully. Sleep abundantly. And know that all is well. All is provided. All is unfolding perfectly according to divine plan. You are safe in the arms of infinite love. You are held by the universe itself. You are supported by powers and principalities beyond human understanding. And you are prospered beyond your wildest dreams because you have claimed your divine inheritance, because you have aligned with spiritual law, because you are one with the source of all supply. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. I am rich. Money flows to me now. Divine supply is mine. I sleep in peace and wake in abundance. And so it is. Amen. And so it is.